welcome to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio. We have a good number of episodes relating to the Thanksgiving holiday. We begin with Fibber McGee and Molly, for which we are about to receive is the episode's title. We move on to the Roma Wine Show, and follow that with a Thanksgiving in the Wilderness with the Challenge of the Yukon. We have the Jack Benny Show. We move to Command Performance. We have a detective story, if you can believe it, Jeff Regan. And then we end with, even more incredible perhaps, we end with Suspense, The Screaming Woman. Let's get started.
It's time for Fibber, McGee, and Molly. Sundays through Thursdays, NBC brings you Fibber, McGee, and Molly transcribed. The show is written by Phil Leslie and Len Levinson and directed by Max Hutto. Our story in a moment. But first, Mr. McGee wants the missus to hear this, and you may listen too.
Listen to this, Molly. Here's an article in the paper that says the average man with a college education will earn $100,000 more in his lifetime than a man without college.
$100,000, McGee?
Yep.
Well, for goodness sakes.
It sure is.
Sure is what, dearie?
For goodness sake, just like you said.
Oh.
Thanks to the goodness of a good many mothers and dads and the Prudential Swell Education Fund plan, a lot of kids are going to find the road to success a lot less bumpy than it often is.
Just a minute, McGee. What's all this about the Prudential's education plan?
I was just going to tell the folks, Molly. It's an education plan provided by the Prudential Insurance Company, and it's the sure and easy way for you parents to cover your youngsters' college expenses when the time comes. With this plan, you can start building that education fund now, little by little, over the years. And if anything happens to you before Junior's ready for college, well, the Prudential pays the amount in full.
Well, that certainly makes sense, friends. It's the surest way I know to start your youngsters on the road to success. So call your Prudential agent tomorrow. He'll be glad to tell you about an education fund plan for your children.
Did you have a nice Thanksgiving dinner? Well, lean back, relax, and listen to what happened at the McGee home today. It's long about noon right now at 79 Wistful Vista. The turkey is in the oven, the pies are on the breadboard, and Mrs. McGee is in the front hall talking to her neighbors.
Come in, Sally, both of you.
Oh, we can't stay.
No, Sally and I are just going to go over and visit my mother for a spell, and
Well, now, wait a minute. You haven't forgotten you're having dinner with us around 4 o'clock, have you?
Oh, no, that's why we stopped in. I just wanted to know if there was anything I could get for you. Anything I can bring?
You just bring your appetite. We have everything else. I've got a big turkey in the oven. We're going to have chestnuts in the dressing and pumpkin pie and hot mince. Oh, and McGee's going to have a surprise for us.
A surprise?
Yes, he found an old family recipe for a special cranberry sauce, and he's going to make it himself.
Well, now, you can't discourage me, Miss McGee. I'm coming anyhow.
Well, he's been downtown all morning buying cranberries and stuff, and... Oh! He's back. Excuse me, kids. I got to protect my kitchen.
We'll see you about 4 o'clock.
McGee, is that you, or did the Army backfield just go through the kitchen?
It's me, kiddo. I just got home. Took me all morning to round up the proper ingredients for my big treat today, but I got 'em.
Good.
I'd like to let you help me make it, but Mother McGee's cranberry super sauce is a very special recipe. Particular.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch me, though, if you want.
Gee, thanks, kid.
Good.
But I'm going to have my hands full with the pies and the turkey and a few other little items.
You go right ahead. You won't be in my way a bit. Now, let me see. Well, if this will be big enough to start.
Big enough? Why, that's a special kettle that my great-grandmother used to boil moose in. 2 at a time, if you...
Oh,
Why...
I won't hurt it any. Now, let me get the cranberries over here. Get the bag open.
McGee, you know we only invited the Nelsons, Dr. Gamble and his mother, and Miss Cuddleson, and the old-timer and Mr. Wimple.
Yeah, I think I got enough cranberries.
Heavenly days, how many cranberries?
5 gallons. And every single berry handpicked by me at 6 different markets.
What?
Yep. Getting the berries was nothing to the trouble I had finding all the right spices for it.
Spices? We have a whole shelf full of spices right in the pantry there.
You got fresh peppermint leaves, lemon verbena, ginger root, sassafras, oregano, or angelica?
Did you say you're making cranberry sauce or root beer?
Cranberry sauce, my dear. Mother McGee's cranberry super sauce. And I better get to work, too. Hand me the brown sugar, sorghum, and vinegar, and get me a double boiler and a heavy skillet, will you?
Yes, sir. Coming up.
While the berries are cooking, I'll chop the citron, grate the nutmeg, braise me a grapefruit in a well-buttered skillet, and get this show on the road. Now, let me see here. The berries have been cooking an hour and a half. So, the next thing to do is simmer the citron in the cider and stir in the cinnamon sticks.
Shades of Duncan Hines.
Hand me a saucepan there, will you please, missus? Oh, and get me down 2 raisins, will you?
2 raisins? Large ones or small ones?
Small, please. That's going to be my contribution to the old family recipe.
Your what?
It's a long-time tradition, my dear. Every McGee who makes Mother McGee's cranberry super sauce always adds some little touch of his own. My touch is going to be 2 raisins.
2 raisins into 5 gallons of cranberry.
Just a touch.
This is a fascinating operation. Where did this recipe originate originally?
Well, that's an interesting story, kiddo. The recipe was invented by, as I recall, my mother's grandmother's great-grandmother's mother.
Oh, her.
They were crossing the prairie in a covered wagon, and Thanksgiving caught up with them miles from home. They claimed that game was scarce that year, and they had everything to eat but meat.
Do tell.
So my mother's grandmother's great-grandmother's mother whipped up this fabulous cranberry recipe, and they do say it tasted so terrific that she stuffed an old saddle with oyster dressing, served it up with this cranberry sauce, and the family all claimed it was the best Thanksgiving dinner they'd ever had that year.
You're kidding.
There's more fun with the McGees shortly.
For skin that's clear and extra clean, use Dial, Dial, Dial. Complexions love this mild routine, use Dial, Dial, Dial.
You can't see what's happening underneath your makeup, but you can be sure of this. If you wash beforehand with mild, gentle Dial soap, invisible skin bacteria won't spoil your complexion, because Dial removes up to 95% of skin bacteria that often spread surface blemishes and make them worse. And ordinary face soaps leave thousands of bacteria. When you put on makeup, these bacteria are free to cause trouble underneath. But daily washing with Dial gently removes them. Dial's the one leading soap that contains AT7, or hexachlorophene, the most effective bacteria remover known. And it clings to your skin, continually retarding the growth of new bacteria. That's why mild, gentle Dial soap protects your complexion even under makeup.
I was just out in the kitchen, Doctor, Mrs. Gamble. It won't be long now.
I hope not. I'm starving.
Oh, you're always hungry, George. Ever since he was a child, Mr. Wimple, he's always been starving.
Are you hungry, Mrs. Gamble?
Starving.
Well, now, we can sit down in a few minutes, folks. I'm sorry Miss Cuddleson couldn't come, Doctor.
Oh, so was she, Molly. She's on duty at the hospital all day. Oh, excuse me. I want to tell Les and Sally something about...
Oh, poor George. He was very disappointed that she couldn't come. You know, I think he's in love, Molly.
No. Oh, my.
Well, he really should be married, you know.
Why, of course he should. Everybody should.
Don't you think so, Mr. Wimple?
Well, of course, you can't prove that by me, although...
Is there anything I can do to help, Mrs. McGee? Where's Mr. McGee?
He's still in the kitchen fussing with his famous family cranberry sauce, Sally. Well, I think we can all sit down now. Come on, everybody. Take your places.
I'm hungry.
Now, right here, Mrs. Gamble, and you sit there, Sally. That's it.
Fine.
Go right ahead and start on your fruit cocktail, everybody. I'll be right back. I couldn't hold them any longer, McGee. How are you coming?
I'm getting there. Strained it and mixed it some more, and now it's simmering. You know, I forgot how complicated this recipe was. I should have started it last night.
Well, now they're starting to eat. I'll make it as slow as I can.
Oh, don't worry. I only got a couple more steps to go through with this, and I'll be ready. What you looking for?
A clean bowl to put the peas in.
I guess I used all the clean bowls, but I'll let you borrow this one. I'm through with it.
Oh, dear, I never saw anyone who cooks so all over the place like you do, McGee.
Can I be of any use, Johnny? Finished my fruit cocktail and brung the plate.
Oh, dear, I'd better get back in there. Come in as soon as you can, McGee.
I sure will. Whoop, I gotta watch these pots.
Say, Johnny, that's some layout you got all over the stove. What can I do?
Oh, nothing, thanks. You better hightail it back to the dining room. You might miss out on a course, old-timer.
Rather stay here and watch you. Reminds me of the way Mama used to make her 14-day pickles.
Yeah?
Mama would start out the first day with 2 gallons of cukes in a stone jar. She'd cover with boiling water, salt, and alum. Then on the 14th day, she'd take 'em out of the vinegar, and let me tell you, no pickler ever experienced a more interesting 2 weeks.
Well, I can say the same thing, old-timer. Well, I'm about ready.
She used to call 'em Mama's 2-week pickles. But if you ask me, they should have been called Mama's 2 strong pickles.
Yeah.
My goodness, are you two still... Oh, McGee, now, we can't wait any longer. Everybody's yelling for the turkey.
Oh, okay. You two take it in. I'll be right along.
Let me help you, daughter. We can trot in with that turkey together.
It's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, it used to be one of the best turkey trotters that ever rolled up his trouser cuffs.
Oh, look at that big old
There, now. We'll put it down here, Mr. Oldtimer.
Easy now, easy. There.
Will you do the carving, Doctor?
With the greatest of pleasure, my dear.
After everyone else has had their favorite piece, Doctor, I'd like a drumstick. I always...
Boy, here's Mr. McGee.
Oh, for goodness. Well, here, sit next to me,
boy.
Mr. McGee.
Oh, the cranberry sauce is finished.
Yep, it sure is. It's still warm, kids, but...
House.
Oh, is that so? Well, you just taste a spoonful. All of you pass your plates and get a spoonful.
Oh, it looks good.
Oh,
There you are. Mother McGee's cranberry super sauce. Been a family delicacy for over 100 years. Don't be afraid. Go ahead and eat.
Mm-hmm. McGee, I apologize for all the kidding. It's great.
Oh, yes, I must have the recipe.
Johnny, this is the best I ever ate, and I've ate the best.
Dearie, it's truly delicious.
You all like it, huh?
Yes.
I should say, give me a good big plateful. Well, where is it?
Well, to tell you the truth, you've had it.
Had it? What do you mean?
You had 5 gallons of cranberries, McGee.
Well, I don't know what happened, but after I strained it and simmered it and boiled it and cooked it, just like the recipe said, all them ingredients boiled to just 1 teacupful.
Oh, no.
I didn't even get a chance to taste it myself. Was it good, kids?
Oh, McGee, it was delicious.
It was. I'm glad.
We'll say goodnight to Fibber and Molly in a moment.
American Motors announces a whole new idea in automobiles.
Introducing the daring, dazzling 1955 Rambler, now on display at all Hudson and all Nash dealers.
Come and see luxury and comfort that's new in a low-price car.
See fabulous new Continental styling with brilliant new color interior.
See reclining seats, genuine hydromatic drive, complete all-season air conditioning that warms in winter, cools in summer.
All this in a car built with double-strength unit body, safer and free from squeaks and rattles, in a car that's quicker in traffic, faster on pickup.
Take the wheel of the Rambler. Thrill to the shortest turning radius of any American sedan. Thrill to the floating smoothness of the new deep coil ride.
And remember, you get up to 600 miles on a tank full of gasoline.
Drive the sensational new 1955 Rambler from American Motors. Now at all Nash dealers and Hudson dealers.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope this has been a happy Thanksgiving for you as it has been for us, with so much to be thankful for.
And we hope you'll join us in saying thanks to God for all the blessings He has bestowed upon us. For our homes, our families and friends, our work.
More than that, for our freedom. The freedom to say what we think and to do what we think is right. The freedom to live our lives without fear.
These are the blessings for which we are thankful today. And may God preserve them for us all.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Fibber, McGee, and Molly is an NBC Radio Network production transcribed, with Bill Thompson as the old-timer and Mr. Wimple, Arthur Q. Bryan as Dr. Gamble, Kate McKenna as Mrs. Gamble, and Robert Easton and Mary Lou Harrington as Les and Sally Nelson. This is John Wald reminding you to be with us again Sunday night. When Mr. McGee doesn't buy George, let a salesman put anything over on him. Or does he? Tune in and see.
Remember to join the great Gildersleeve and all his friends tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
My, Thursday.
The Roma Wine Show, starring Charlie Ruggles, Mary Astor, and Misha Auer. Yes, it's the Thursday night Roma Wine Show, brought to you by the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California. And stepping down from the screen to greet you in person is Roma's hostess. Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Astor.
Thank you, and hello, everybody. On behalf of Roma Wine, welcome to our Thursday night show. On hand to make it a great evening, we have the sensational singing combination of the Pied Pipers. Misha Auer will delve into his past for another of those fabulous adventures. And Charlie Ruggles produces a Thanksgiving play with the aid of Mrs. Snavely and his neighborhood friends. So plan to spend this half hour with us. And meet the two stars of our show, Charlie Ruggles and Misha Auer. Hello, Charlie. Hello, Misha.
Hello, Mary. Greetings, my little fluffy ruffled petunia. You know, Mary, I was just thinking, these American sailors of ours are great guys.
The greatest in the world, Charlie.
Oh, boy. Up in Hollywood Boulevard the other day, a couple of them spotted two pretty girls walking along with two shore patrols, see? And one sailor said to the other, hey, boy, get a look at what's coming over the horizon. Two nifty little destroyers. And the other one said, yeah, but look what's with them. Minesweepers.
Yeah, look who is talking about the Navy. The closest you ever got to the ocean was saltwater taffy.
Now, wait. Now, just a minute, you Russian beanpole. You were never in the Navy either, you know.
Oh, yes, I was. In fact, they were going to make me a Commodore until they heard my humor.
Then what did they do?
They made me a humidor.
You know, Mary, our new housekeeper has a husband in the Navy. He's on a submarine chaser. And boy, the things she's learned from him.
What do you mean, Charlie?
Well, every morning, instead of knocking on my door to wake me up, she throws a depth charge over the transom.
Oh, man, the lifeboats. Here's Bud Duskin and his swell Roma Wine Orchestra to open our show with an old favorite, Back Home Again in Indiana. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Frank Martin, the young man who says...
I speak for Roma. Now that the chill days of fall are here and the colder days of winter are just ahead, it's a good thing to sip a glass of wine of an evening for warm, contenting relaxation. And make it Roma wine, friends. Roma wine from the sunny summer valleys and hillsides of California. Nature's most favorite of all the world's vineyard gardens. You'll find Roma California wines the perfect expression of the old world art of winemaking, plus the extra care, the constant testing and tasting our modern knowledge has added to that ageless art. Roma wines will meet your personal test, your eye test for clarity, your nose test for bouquet or aroma, and your palate test for satisfying, pleasant taste. Yes, Roma California wines bring you sunbeams from warm valleys for your cool fall and winter evenings. But keep one thing always in mind when you buy wine. Remember, the name of our wine is Roma. R-O-M-A, the four-letter name that brings you four fundamentals of complete wine satisfaction. Roma wines are true to type. Roma wines are faithful in flavor. Roma wines are sound of character. Roma wines are reasonable in cost. No wonder America's largest selling wines are Roma.
The Roma Wine Show presents the memoirs of Misha the Magnificent.
Again, the soft warbling of the night birds heralds the approach of evening. And once again, Misha the Magnificent arises to mold another of his adventures into a thrilling climax. Let's listen to one of these moldy adventures.
The Memoirs of Misha the Magnificent. Wild Animal Edition. Title of chapter: How I, Misha, delivered stew to the gnu in the zoo when I was 2. Or, że nie priechce nie ptanie Kryknkiewicz with elephant. New paragraph. Even as a small child, I was fond of the animals and tried my best to be like them. In this I succeeded, for as a boy I was always barefooted, bull-headed, and hog-wild. With a little practice, I also learned the language of the birds and was soon able to talk turkey. As I grew to manhood, I became intensely interested in the creatures of the forest. And it was Papa who told me that I had just the right appearance to handle dangerous wild animals. Or, as he put it, Misha, with that face, you ought to be in a zoo. What an inspiration these words were from Papa. Soon I found myself in the office of the keeper of the zoo. Keeper, I said, I am Misha, the explorer, the discoverer, the bringer back.
Good. We've been looking for someone like you, an explorer, a discoverer, and a bringer back.
You have?
Yes. Go explore the zoo. If you discover any dirt, sweep it up, and when you're through with the broom, bring her back.
With these kind, encouraging words, I made up my mind to go to the jungle in search of an animal that was rare. I'd even settle for something medium rare. Accordingly, I began my journey and got a lower on a Pullman coach. Funny thing, it was lower than the coach. All night long, I could hear the clicking of the wheels. From here to the waiting ship was but a short jump. I missed the jump. The sun came up early, and when I awoke, I was on board the ship bound for the jungles of Africa. The first night out, I met shy, demure Clarissa. We passed on the deck. Hello, I said, throwing her a sidelong glance.
Good evening.
She said, throwing me a left hook. A beautiful friendship had begun. Stepping close to her, I said, I am Misha.
So what?
I'd like to know you better.
So what?
Footnote. She kept swatting me all over the place. On footnote. Growing tired of this, we struck up a conversation.
Misha, if you're really a big game hunter, what are you doing here?
Well, the police closed up all the big games. Captivated by her girlish beauty, I offered her a motion picture career.
You'll have to ask Mother.
Where is Mother, child?
In the stateroom, waving her hair.
What's the matter? Can't she afford a flag?
Here comes Mother now.
As she approached me, I could see that this child's mother was a woman of culture and elegance. She was the real mid-Victorian type, a dainty little woman with high lace collar and a lorgnette. Pardon me, ma'am, I said. I would like to guide your daughter's career. She lifted her lorgnette to her eyes, and in a voice reminiscent of good breeding and social background, she replied,
For my daughter, Drake, I'll bring up that sprout.
Please, madam, let me bring up that sprout.
Take a pot of chowder head. I'll bring up that sprout.
Now, my dear lady, let's not get raucous.
Raucous, another one.
Footnote. I never saw them again, for they went south for the Hangnail Festival. And I rode to Brussels for another sprout. On footnote. The next day we stopped at a desert island off the coast of Africa. I was talking to the captain. Captain, why are we stopping here?
Here, monsieur? Here I take on food. I take on water, and I take on freight.
You take on all these things? What do you put off?
You!
Like Robinson Crusoe, I thought I was alone on this desert island until one day I saw the tattered figure of a man approaching. Behind him were 3 little tots. Could this be? I trembled in anticipation as I asked him, "Pardon me, are you Robinson Crusoe's Man Friday?"
No, I followed him. I'm Saturday.
Well, who are those 3 children?
Sunday, Monday, and always.
There were no peculiar animals on this island, so I decided to cross the water to the mainland, Africa. I left the next day by turtle. I was on this turtle for so long that I finally turned turtle. The next thing I knew, I was in the jungles of Africa. Here, at last, I knew I would find the rare animal I sought to bring back. Suddenly, I heard the thump of heavy footsteps. Then the bushes parted.
Goodbye, Bush. So long, Bush.
And out of the bushes stepped the largest, most ferocious savage imaginable. His face was hideously painted, and he wore a necklace of human skulls, while on his giant shoulder was slung a limp rhinoceros. He saw me and stopped. His eyes bulged, and his shaggy face contorted horribly. In a thunderous, earth-shaking voice, he roared,
I am a savage beast. Honest, I am. Honest.
Savage beast, I asked him, have you seen any peculiar animals around here?
Oh, yeah. Yesterday I saw a grunk.
A grunt? What's a grunk?
That's an animal that has a head like a giraffe, a body like a lion, and an appetite like a horse.
Good. Where is it? Where is it?
My mama gave me an aspirin tablet, and it went away.
And then one day I saw that which I had come to find. Before me stood the strangest animal I've ever seen. It looked like a cow, but it couldn't be. It had no horns. Quickly I captured it and boarded the next boat back to America. I knew it would be acclaimed at last. Proudly I stood before the zookeeper with my prize.
What have you there, Michel?
Sir, I am here the rarest animal in the world. A cow without horns. What an object to study. Maybe science can discover why this cow has no horns.
Well, that's very simple, Michel. This happens to be a horse.
The end.
Someday the boys in the little white coats will come and take Misha away from us forever. Right now, we turn to more serious business. Meaning, of course, the Pied Pipers. This swell vocal group has whipped up a nifty little tune which seems to be doing all right across the networks. It's called I Dug a Ditch.
I was just a cowboy on a ranch in old Wyoming till ambition got a hold of me one day. So I packed my duds and started roaming from Wyoming, and now this is why I'm glad I went away. I dug a ditch, and I struck it rich down in Wichita. Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-yay, and I made it pay in Wichita. I could keep on digging like I've been digging before.
Now I'm feeling so hot, diggity.
I want something more. I've got an itch just to leave that ditch. I want to go back to Marine who stuck to me before I dug a ditch and struck it rich in Wichita. I dug it before. Now I'm feeling so hot, diggity, I want to get something more. I've got an itch like to leave that ditch. Want to go back to Marine, stuck to me before I dug the ditch and struck it rich in Wichita.
Pipers, very well indeed. Now, Frank Martin, prepare our listeners for what is about to happen.
Charlie Ruggles has written another play. What a very special play, ladies and gentlemen. The annual Thanksgiving presentation of the San Fernando Fish and Chowder Club. We find producer Ruggles suffering with laryngitis tonight, hard at work backstage.
You know, Gene, Mary, I sure am enthused about my play. And I don't know when I've seen you so excited.
Oh, it's just that I love being backstage, Charlie. There's a certain air about backstage of the theater.
Yeah, isn't there? Especially when it's a fish and chowder club, you know. Look what I'm wearing tonight, Mary. Look at it. Isn't it pretty? Pilgrim shoes with buckles on them and knee breeches. And look, here's the hat.
Well, Charlie, the costume's authentic. All except the hat.
Well, I've got to explain that to you, Mary. You see, we have a big Thanksgiving dinner scene, and the Brown Derby restaurant donated the food.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, I promised in return, as a hint to the audience, I'd wear this hat.
Well, that was very nice of them to provide the food just in exchange for you wearing a Brown Derby.
Yeah.
You must be a pretty good customer.
Oh, I practically live in there. And some days I hardly find time to run home and eat, you know?
Why, Charlie, don't you ever spend any money in there?
Why, certainly I do. Why, only last Friday night I bought dinner for a party of 22.
A party of 22? Mm-hmm. That must have cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, you're not kidding. She ate like a horse. I have to laugh at that myself, Mary, you know. You know, Mary, since I'm Captain John Smith in this play, you know, and you're going to be Pocahontas, there's one embarrassing thing, Mary.
What's that?
Well, at the end of the play, right after we're married, I hold you tight, you know, and I close my eyes like this, and then I pucker up my lips and... Why, Mary, you kissed me.
No, I didn't, Charlie.
Well, it must have been a figment of my imagination.
No, I'm Mrs. Snavely, your next-door neighbor.
Mrs. Snavely, please, what was the idea of kissing me?
Well, you were standing there with your eyes closed, and I hate to see a good pucker go to waste.
Well, Mrs. Snavely, as a favor to me, please don't do it again. Now, what is it you want here?
Well, I'm an actress, and I want to be in the play.
No, I'm awfully sorry, Mrs. Snavely, but there's nothing for you in it. I can't.
You gotta let me be in the play. Don't forget, I'm the head of the Chowder Club.
Mrs. Snavely, chowder head or not, there's no part for you.
I'm not a chowder head. I'm head of the club.
All right, club head then.
That's better.
But I'll tell you what you can do, Mrs. Snavely. You can prepare the food for the big Thanksgiving dinner scene. How's that?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Ruggles. I'm a good cook. That's how I met Mr. Snavely.
Is that so? You mean you were childhood sweethearts?
Yes. He used to carry my pots home from cooking school.
Now, isn't that thoughtful? That was wonderful of him, you know. Of course, lots of marriages are potluck, Mrs. Snavely, you know. Well, goodbye, Mrs. S.
Goodbye, Mr. R.
Well, Mary, I think everything's set up, so I'm going home. I'm going home while the orchestra rehearses, you see. Now, don't forget curtain at 8:30, Mary.
I'll be there with bells on.
No, feathers. You're playing an Indian, remember? All right, start the orchestra, boys.
While Charlie is getting his big Thanksgiving play ready, I'd like to tell you about a card I had from one of our listeners last week, which I believe is definitely worth answering on the air. This lady says, Miss Astor, I understand that you explained certain rules for serving wine recently. I'm especially sorry I missed the Roma Wine Show that night because I'd like to know your answers about the proper glassware and table linen to use. Well, very briefly, let me repeat the answers. You don't need fancy glassware to enjoy the goodness of Roma, California wines. Elegant glassware may flatter the beautiful colors a bit more, but the flavor will be the same in any glass. You don't need fancy linens either. Roma wines are just as thoroughly enjoyed on tables covered with checkered cloth as with the rarest of lace or linen. You don't have to worry about which type of wine is correct either. Select the type you like the best, either red or white. And whichever you choose, you know you can serve it for only a few cents a glass.
And, Mary, we can all remember that Roma wines are delicious. Roma wines are suitable on any table. Roma wines are economical to serve.
Indeed, yes, Frank, always. For fine wines at reasonable cost, say Roma. Now, Frank Martin, the big moment is here. Set the stage, please.
A sturdy band of pilgrims in Plymouth, New England, were exhausted on that memorable November day. Exhausted from starvation and privation, tired from war with the Indians. So their stalwart leader, Captain John Smith, played by Charlie Ruggles, went to the Indian chief and pleaded for his people. Curtain, music.
I beggest of thou, strong warrior, take me to thy chief.
Me tired. All day stand in front of cigar store.
And what dost thou do in front of cigar store?
Me say, LS, MFT.
Well, what do you know of commercial Indian? Oh, here comes Chief Sitting Bull now.
Ugh.
Ugh. Please, mighty war chief, make your brave spare my people.
Ugh.
There's no reason why us thouest and meest cannot be friendses. Is there us?
Ugh.
Why dost thou keep saying ugh?
Again, boom, da-da-da.
Now, wait a minute. Now, you cut that out, Frank. This isn't a musical, you know. White man come to offer hand in friendship. And what is that?
That mini ha-ha.
My goodness, she sounds like she must be sitting on her feathers or something. Oh, Big Cheese, Big Chief, your tribe has been burning white men at the stake. Canst thou do something about this?
Me tell 'em tribe go easy on stake. Red man, no red points.
Meanest thou that thou will make peace?
I spare life of your people if you marry my daughter Pocahontas and raise many brave.
Ah, but Chief, it will take me much time to make a decision like that.
Much better marry Pocahontas now. Have papoose before Pearl Harbor.
Wait! Here cometh a messenger from my people. What is thou message bearest thou? Thee?
Thy women are weeping from hunger. Thy children are crying from hunger.
Yeah, and your acting is from hunger, too. But alas and alack, I must save my people. So perhaps I shall wed Pocahontas.
Wilt thou?
I will, thou. I shall ride back and announce the news to my people. Mighty war chief, friend Alvin, go fetch Pocahontas.
Pocahontas?
The name is Pocahontas. Now stop clowning, will you, Alvin? Never mind her last name. It shall be changed. As of tomorrow, we shall be known as John Smith and wife.
Oh, I know them.
No, these aren't the same people, that's all. Now stick to the play, will you, please?
Maybe I can ride back to the village and get help, Captain Smith.
Ah, but these hills are filled with bloodthirsty redskins.
That's all right. I'm anemic.
Alvin, I never asked a man to do anything I wouldn't do, and I wouldn't do anything, so good luck, Alvin.
Wait 'em, Pacey Face.
Why?
No need send help. Red man make peace. But first, white man meet 'em Pocahontas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pokey!
Coming, Father.
Well, taketh Pokey so long. What taketh Pokey so long to get here?
She's slow, Pokey.
You call me Big Chief?
Yeah, Pokey meets Smitty.
How?
How?
White man asks for hand in marriage.
I give white man hand in marriage.
Thank you, but don't unscrew it. Just bring it with you.
This Pocahontas is good friend Alvin. He be best man.
Greetings, friend Alvin.
How is thou?
He best man?
Well, that's the best we could get for $5. All the good actors are working, you know. Come, Alvin and Pocahontas. we shall get on my horse and ride back to my people.
But can a horse run far with 3 people on his back?
3 men on horse run many years.
3 men on horse had talent, not pale-face Indians. Gideous Yap, White Steed, Gideous Yap.
That afternoon, we find Captain John Smith in the Pilgrim Settlement, ready to announce his engagement to Pocahontas.
Good friend Barney, I fear me. I am very nervous about my engagement.
Have you ever been engaged before, Captain Smith?
Aye, 6 times.
All told?
No one keepeth her mouth shut.
Yes, very good, Captain. Thou art in good spirit.
Yea, tonight findeth Captain Smith sharper than a plate of soybeans.
Yes.
Now away with thee, friend Barney. I see Pocahontas approaching from the distance, and notice the beautiful picture as she walks near, covered in a glorious veil of feathers. Oh, why dost thou hide behind those feathers, Pocahontas?
I'm not Pocahontas. I'm Mrs. Snavely, your next-door neighbor.
Mrs. Snavely, what are you doing out here on this day?
I'm setting the table for the big Thanksgiving dinner scene.
Well, what's the idea of wearing one of our Indian costumes?
This isn't an Indian costume. I got all full of feathers cleaning the turkey.
Well, all right. Now get back and watch the food. It has to be returned to the Brown Derby at 8 o'clock. You understand?
I will do as thou hast.
Yeah. All right. Just get back to the kitchen, Mrs. S. Now where? Where's Pocahontas now?
Here, by thy side forever, Captain Smith.
Well, what took you so long?
I was shopping for a bridle, Goon.
Pardon me, Mary. That's bridal brown, not
I'm
Goon.
sorry.
Oh, Captain Smith!
Hey!
Captain Smith!
Hey!
The Indians are coming.
The Indians him's coming?
Yes, look. Look, Captain, they bring us food.
Ah, so they do. And here comes Big Chief, Warrior Chief now. Greetings, Warrior Chief.
Captain Smith, me keep word. My tribe bring food, and me make peace offering of fruits, candies, and nuts.
For us?
Yes. I bring fruit to women, candies to children.
Yes.
And nuts to you.
Now listen, I told you that's not in the script there now. Oh, mighty Warrior Chief, we express our gratitude. And what prompted thy to do all this?
Big Chief's whole powwow. Decide lend-lease.
Hey!
Our people are at the dinner table waiting for the food to be served.
Excellent. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse.
White man psychic. Right here, Captain Smith, at the head of the table.
I thanketh thee. Before we partakest of our Thanksgiving dinner, I wish to make an announcement. Hey, wait a minute. Where's the food? Mrs. Snavely! Mrs. Snavely!
Yes, Mr. Ruggles.
Well, what happened to the food?
Mr. Ruggles, the food won't be ready in time.
Won't be ready in time, but this is the big scene.
I know, but I can't stuff the turkey.
What do you mean you can't stuff the turkey?
I can't get him to open his mouth.
Well, don't worry about it, Mrs. Snavely. This play is the biggest turkey anyone would want for Thanksgiving. So good night, folks.
You're not kidding, Charlie. There's the song that says good night until next Thursday night at another Roma Wine Show. Charlie and Misha, I hope you two have patched up your differences.
Oh, sure, Mary. We were just kidding, weren't we, Charlie?
Why, of course. Hey, Misha, let's have dinner tomorrow night.
Wonderful. Where will we eat?
Well, you eat at your house, and I'll eat at my house.
I'll tell him when he comes in.
That's all. Until next week, this is Mary Astor saying good night.
Mary Astor appears courtesy Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Miss Hour courtesy of 20th Century Fox. Charlie Ruggles will soon be seen in the Paramount picture, Our Hearts Were Young and Gay. This is Frank Martin speaking for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California, and inviting you to tune in again next Thursday for another Roma Wine Show. Remember, before you buy wine, buy war bonds and stamps. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The challenge of the Yukon.
On, you huskies! wonder dog King, swiftest and strongest of Eskimo lead dogs, blazes the trail through storm and snow for Sergeant Preston as he meets the challenge of the Yukon. Sergeant Preston was typical of the small band of Northwest Mounted Police who preserved law and order in the new Northwest country, where the greed for wealth and power led to frequent violence and bloodshed. But in spite of the odds against them, Sergeant Preston and his wonder dog King met that challenge, and justice ruled triumphant. Sergeant Preston stretched his feet toward the fireplace in Father McLean's cabin in Dawson. King, his big lead dog, lay down close beside him and watched the flickering flames through half-closed eyes. Father McLean eased his portly figure into the chair.
Giving is no excuse for eating as much as I did today. But that dinner was too much of a temptation.
Well, it was a wonderful meal, Father. That cook of yours is a prize. I feel like I'd swallowed a whole deer.
It's a good thing Thanksgiving Day comes but once a year.
You were awfully nice to let me share your dinner with your father. It's not often I get food like that.
Yeah, the people in my church are very thoughtful of me on holidays. They bring food that one doesn't expect to get way up here in the North Country.
You know, Father, 2 years ago, I had dinner with another priest on Thanksgiving. Nothing like this one, though. His congregation was very bitter about him at the time.
Bitter? Had he done something wrong?
Well, they thought so. It's rather a long story, Father.
Well, what could be better than a story sitting here before the fire after dinner?
The priest was Father Haley. He left this part of the country before you arrived. He's the one who started the mission in Dawson.
Oh, yes, I've heard of him.
It was before they built the church that's there now. At the time, Father Haley was busy raising funds for it. He was a lovable old man, big fellow with twinkling blue eyes and a good sense of humor. He was very fond of dogs, too, and King was a big favorite of his. I'd been on a patrol north and was coming back to Dawson. About 10 miles from town, I was mushing along the trail, and suddenly I heard a dog.
Hello, King. Hello, you huskies.
Stay here, King. I'll see what's happening. Well, fellow, what's wrong? Oh, poor fellow. You stuck your foot right on my sled back to Dawson. He was a gentle dog, Father. Part setter and part shepherd. We never found out who owned him. Father Haley's cabin was on the trail near the outskirts of town. It was evening when I reached it. Father Haley held the door open while I carried the dog in.
Take him over there by the fire, Sergeant. Now I'll bring a lamp so we can have a look at him.
Well, lie down here, fella. That's it. Well, you got that bandage off, didn't you?
Yeah, now we can see. Well, he's licked it nice and clean, hasn't he?
Yes, I guess he can take care of it better than we can. I'm afraid he's going to lose 1 or 2 toes, though.
Well, I guess there's nothing more we can do for him except feed.
It'll heal up all right, Father, if he stays off it a while.
You're going to leave him here with me, aren't you?
Why, that'll be fine if you want him. I have to leave town again tomorrow.
I'd be glad to have him. He's a nice dog. If his owner doesn't show up, I'll keep him permanently.
Well, Shep, you're a lucky dog.
He's wagging his tail. Maybe that's his name.
As good a name as any.
I'll call him that. He seems to like it. Now, let me warm up a cup of tea.
Oh, no, don't bother, Father Haley. You have enough to do taking care of Shep. Anyway, I'd better get into town.
You say you're going away again tomorrow?
Yes, I'll be away quite a few weeks, I think.
I wanted you to have Thanksgiving dinner with me, Sergeant.
Oh?
You think you'll be back by then? It's 3 weeks off.
Well, that's nice of you, Father. I'll do my best to get back.
We've been raising funds to build a new church, and I hope to have enough by then to warrant a special Thanksgiving celebration.
Well, that's encouraging. This town could certainly use a church. I'll try and get back for it. Now I guess I'd better go. I have to make a few stops in town before bedtime.
Hello, Sergeant. Glad to see you.
Hello, boys. How are you?
You're just in time, Sergeant.
Huh?
We're taking up a contribution for the new church that Father Haley is planning to build.
Well, that's fine, Butch. I didn't know you were interested in church.
Butch started it by giving a whole bag of gold dust.
Gold Nugget Bar is a funny place to be doing it, but I'm all for it.
Think maybe you won't fry quite so long up here.
We're going to need another hat. This one's full. Sergeant,
You better take this money out to Father Haley.
Well, sure, I'll be glad to.
I'll take it out if you're too busy.
Oh, I'll be going past his house tomorrow. I can drop it off.
Ain't you staying in town for a while, Sergeant?
Have to make another patrol, Ben. Be leaving tomorrow or the next day.
Well, there's the money, Preston.
Oh, this is heavy. A lot of money here.
That's nothing to what he'll have in a week or two. This is just a started going. The whole town's chipping in. Sure.
I left the gold at Father Haley's cabin the next day. The collection had netted about $2,000. I was quite surprised that Butch Harvey had started such a thing. Butch was a newcomer in town, and I hadn't liked him from the first time we met.
I see.
There was nothing I could put my finger on exactly.
You Mounties must get quite good at judging men on sight.
Oh, I've been wrong about a lot of men, Father. My judgment isn't always right.
Well, we all make mistakes.
I decided I'd been wrong about Butch, and maybe he was doing this to prove to the town that he was all right.
And, was he?
No, Father. I left town the next day after leaving the money with Father Haley. My trip took me far south, and I wasn't around while the church fund built up. As I learned later, Butch and his partner Ben were very active getting collections, and the whole town contributed. 3 days before Thanksgiving, Father Haley had raised over $15,000. He was putting some gold into the box that evening when Shep scratched on the door. Father Hay put his parka on.
Well, you want to go out for a walk, Shep? I've been so busy today I didn't take you for your walk. All right, boy, go on out. I'll put on my things right away. I'm coming, boy, as soon as I put this box away. There. That ought to be all right.
Good evening, Father Haley.
Bye. Hey, Butch, I'm sorry I didn't hear you knock. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Father.
Sit down, boys. I was just going for a walk with Shep. Wait till I put this box away.
Don't put the box away.
Eh? Oh, did you bring another contribution?
Not exactly, Father. This time you're doing the contributing.
What do you mean?
Get the box, Ben.
Sure.
Butch, you don't mean you're taking the church funds?
That's not all we're taking. You're coming with us.
What?
Here's the box.
Take it out to the side. Hey, come on, Father, before I get nervous and pull this trigger.
Haley went with them out into the dark. They tied him to the sled and drove off. Nobody noticed old Shep. The dog watched the sled disappear and then limped after it. The team outdistanced him quickly, but he kept on through the night, following the scent.
Did they intend to murder Father Haley?
Well, Butch would have, but Ben wouldn't agree to it. They argued about it.
You're crazy, Ben. He can find his way back, I tell you. It's getting light and he can see the trail.
We're going to turn off the trail, ain't we?
But he can see landmarks. He can follow our tracks back, too.
What's wrong with taking his glasses away from him? He can't see without them. I tell you, I won't murder a priest.
Oh, how you Huskies,
All right. We'll turn off here and head for the mountains. I'll take his glasses off and we'll lose him in the hills. I don't see the difference. He'll die of starvation or freeze to death.
The following day, the weather had been clear, and I made a special effort to spend Thanksgiving with Father Haley.
Had anyone discovered he was gone?
Oh, yes. The whole town was in an uproar. Some of the people thought Father Haley had run off with the money. Pete Darcy met me just as I came into town. He was very excited.
Sergeant Preston! Sergeant Preston!
Okay. Oh, you Huskies. What's wrong, Pete?
Well, I'm sure glad you got back, Sergeant. Father Haley has disappeared with all the church money.
Disappeared? When?
Day before yesterday. People think maybe he run off with it. Maybe he wasn't a priest at all.
That's ridiculous, Pete. He'd never go away unless someone forced him to. Were there any tracks around?
Well, lots of people have been in and out to see him. He lives near the trail that's well used.
Yes, I know.
Town's pretty mad about it. Everybody's given lots of money to that fund.
Come along, Pete. We'll go to his cabin now and look it over.
You see, Sergeant, his park is gone, his fire's out, and the money's gone.
Yes. I wonder what became of Shep.
Shep?
The dog he had.
Oh.
He certainly wouldn't try to travel with a lame dog.
Nobody thought about the dog. He ain't had him very long.
Come on outside, Pete. Maybe we can still find Shep's tracks.
Your own dog has made tracks all over.
Here are Shep's. You see that front foot?
Yeah, he's lame.
Doesn't put much weight on it, and it's crooked.
Here, King. These tracks, boy. Can you find him?
I'm afraid the trail is cold by this time, Sergeant.
Well, it hasn't snowed for 2 days. These tracks lead away from town. We could probably pick them up, but the snow hasn't been trampled. I'm going to try it, Pete.
You want me to come with you, Sergeant?
Why, no, I'll go alone. I'll take what supplies I can find in Father Haley's cabin here. Can't stop for more. Maybe a long trip. We kept going. After a while, the trail of the dog was easier to follow. Shep's foot had started to bleed where the snow and ice had broken open the freshly healed cut.
You mean that dog kept right on going in spite of it?
He'd become very fond of Father Haley. When the tracks turned off the trail, it was easy to follow them. Shep, by then, was going on 3 legs.
When did you find Father Haley?
Well, not until the next evening. Shep had found him the night before. They were huddled together in a clump of spruce trees at the base of the mountain. Father Haley had no idea where he was. Here, Father. Put this blanket around you. I'm glad you built a fire.
It isn't much of a fire. I had some matches in the pocket of my pocket.
Who did all this, Father?
Richard did.
Oh?
They're going off with... They took my glasses from me, and I couldn't find enough wood. If Shep hadn't come, I'd have frozen. We kept each other warm.
I found you by following Shep's tracks.
Yes, poor fellow. To drop when he found me. He dragged himself to me, his poor foot all bloody. Feed him first, Sergeant.
I will, Father. Now, you relax and don't worry about the church funds. I'll telegraph Butch and Ben's description to the border. They're headed for Eagle City. And now I'll get some food ready.
It's not the Thanksgiving dinner we had planned, is it, Sergeant?
No, it isn't, Father.
Were the 2 thieves Butch and Ben caught?
They were caught at the border by one of our men. Most of the money was returned.
As Father Haley said, that must have been a rather slim Thanksgiving dinner you had that night.
Yes, 'twas, Father. But it's one I'll never forget. We sat at the base of the towering mountain. The moon glistened on the snow, and it was deathly still. Father Haley sat beside the flickering fire in his lap. He hadn't eaten for 2 days. But when I put his food in front of him, he didn't eat at once. He bowed his head and gave thanks. It wasn't a short prayer, and as he ended it, I felt a lump in my throat.
I thank the Lord for sending Shep to me. Please grant me the faith and courage that is his, and help me to follow thee with an equal love and trust.
These copyrighted dramas originate in the studios of WXYZ Detroit, and all characters, names, places, and incidents used are fictitious. They are sent to you each week at this same time. This is Larry McCann speaking.
J-E-L-L-O. The Jell-O program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. The orchestra opens the program with It's a Whole New Thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the age of research. So we've been doing a little research on the subject of Jell-O. Well, we found out that the best days of the week to serve Jell-O are Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which is just another way of saying that Jell-O is always, anytime, and every time a perfectly swell dessert. For Jell-O brings you that full, extra-rich flavor. A flavor as fresh and sunny as the real ripe fruit itself. And all 6 of Jell-O's famous flavors have the same rich goodness. Strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, and lime. A grand, satisfying flavor that has made Jell-O America's favorite gelatin dessert. And you like Jell-O's gay, appetizing appearance, too. Its shimmering, jewel-like colors that make it look so inviting. So enjoy some tomorrow. Just be sure to get genuine Jell-O and don't accept any substitutes. Look for those big red letters on the box. They spell Jell-O. it's a whole new thing played by Phil Harris and his orchestra. And now, ladies and gentlemen, once again we bring you our master of ceremonies. That bubbling personality, that effervescent comedian, that fizz, Jack Benny.
Hello again. This is Jack Benny, the carbonated kid, talking. And, Don, I like that introduction. It fits me to a T. I am bubbling and effervescent. The fizz you can have back.
Well, Jack, let me explain. When I called you a fizz, it was really a compliment. I meant you were physical.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fizz for short.
I understand, Don, perfectly. In other words, if you called me a mug, you'd really mean I was magnificent. Is that it?
Exactly.
Well, Don, if you think I fell for that, you're a fathead, and that's short for your whole body. Anyway, Don, let's not get into a routine because I know how you appreciate a good story. And I heard a gag a few minutes ago that will positively put every one of your tins in motion. Oh, it's a honey.
It's a good one, huh?
Well, Virgil, the sound man, told it to me, and you know what a clown he is. Get this, Don. Don, I haven't even told you the story yet. What are you laughing at?
Is it the one about the nearsighted old maid that buried the midget?
No, heavens, no, Don. Heavens, not that one. This is a brand new story. Get this. There was a fellow walking down the street, and he was leading a pink alligator on a leash, when all of a sudden it started to act up and snap at him.
Uh-huh.
So the guy got annoyed, turned around to this pink alligator and said, "You better behave yourself, or I'll take a bromo seltzer, and that'll be the end of you." Oh, isn't that terrific, John?
Oh, it sure is. That Virgil has a great sense of humor.
Yes,
Gee, that was a funny story, Mr. Benny.
Oh, Dennis, I didn't see it. Did you like it?
Yeah. But there's one thing that puzzles me.
What?
If the man was walking down the street, where did he get the bromo seltzer?
Well, I don't know. He probably had a box of it in his pocket.
Oh. Then I guess he had a glass of water in his other pocket.
Yes, Dennis, and a banjo on his knee. Now, don't worry about it. Say, you're here kind of early tonight, Dennis. Where's your mother?
She's across the street in the bowling alley.
In the bowling alley? Well, with her legs, you better watch out. Anyway, Dennis, I'm glad you're here on time tonight. Now, try and make a habit of it.
You know, Jack, I can't get over that story you told me. It's silly, but I get a great kick out of it.
Isn't it ridiculous? Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. What's so funny?
Mary, I must tell you. Did you hear the story about the fellow that was walking down the street leading a pink alligator on a leash?
Is that the one where the man said, "I'll take a bromo seltzer and that'll be the end of you"?
Yes.
No, tell it to me.
Well, this guy was... Wait, you just told me the answer. I thought you said you never heard it.
Oh, stop, Jack. That's one of the oldest jokes in the world.
Mary, jokes happen to be my business. And if that was the oldest joke in the world, I'd be the first one to know it.
Should I let him have it, folks?
Never mind. Do me a favor, will you, Mary? Go out and come back in again.
Well, gee, Jack, as long as you're telling jokes, why don't you tell a good one? I heard a gag last night that was terrific.
Oh, you did, eh?
Yeah. A man walked into the house and said to his wife, "It's raining cats and dogs outside."
Uh-huh.
And she said, "How do you know?"
Mm-hmm.
And he said,
I just stepped in a poodle. I know where you heard that, Mary, at the Wilshire Bowl. Phil Harris has been husking that for 3 years. That's his theme joke. You know, Don, Phil's idea of humor is really pitiful.
Oh, I don't know about that, Jack. I was at the bowl one night, and the people screamed at him.
Sure they scream at him. Every time he finishes a gag, he has a waiter throw a custard pie in his face. That's why.
I didn't see anybody do that.
Oh, well, you must have been their bucket of water night. That's his idea of changing material.
Well, I'll say one thing about Phil. He sure attracts the young collegiate crowd. All the college boys go there.
They have to go there, Mary. That's part of their initiation. Before they can join a fraternity, they have to either listen to Harris or sleep all night in a graveyard.
In a graveyard?
Yes, and you'll be surprised at the number of kids around here that aren't afraid of ghosts. Yes, sir.
You know, Jack, Phil sure believes in that college spirit. Look at that sign on the bass drum.
Oh, yeah. Phil Harris and his collegians. Look, he spells collegians with one L.
Well, he spells Phil with two, so it's all even.
You know, Mary, sometimes I think that Phil...
Jiggers, here he comes now.
Don't jiggers me. Now, hello, Phil.
Hiya, Jackson. What's going on?
Well, to tell the truth, Phil, for the last 5 minutes, we've been talking about you.
Well, a little build-up ain't never hurt nobody.
No, Phil, and never done you no good, either. Your grammar is worse than Abe Lyman's, and he never got beyond block.
Well, who cares about grammar? I got other things to worry about.
Oh, I can imagine. Say, Phil, I noticed that new sign you got on the bass drum. What happened to that corny painting you used to have there?
Corny?
Yeah, you know the one with the yellow moon and the green river and the purple trees. Remember that one, Mary?
Yeah, he used to call it Gypsy Doodle by Rembrandt.
That's the one. Whatever happened to that painting, Phil?
I sold it to the Metropolitan Museum in New York.
You mean the Museum of Fine Arts?
I don't know what they got there, but that's the joint that bought it.
Phil, are you crazy?
Crazy nothing. Someday that picture will be hanging in Paris, right next to the Mona Lulu.
Well, I'm not going to even bother to correct that. How do you like that, Mary? The most famous painting of a woman in the world, and Phil doesn't even know her name.
If she were alive, he'd know her name and phone number.
And her address and what she's doing on Friday night. Well, I got myself on a detour for no reason at all. And besides...
Hey, Jack, why don't you tell Phil that story the sound man told you? He'll get a kick out of it.
Oh, he wouldn't even get it.
Come on, Jackson, what is it? Let's hear it.
All right, Phil. Do you know the one about the fellow who was walking down the street and his pink alligator snapped at him?
Know it. I'm the guy that drank the bromo.
There you are, fellas. He's always got a brilliant comeback, even if he has to make a bum out of himself. Oh, Dennis.
Yes, please?
How about a song before we get involved again?
Okay, Mr. Benny. I'm going to sing an old favorite by Stephen Foster called Jeannie with the Light Brown Hair.
Oh, that's swell, Dennis. I love those old songs.
Old songs, old gags. What this program needs is glands.
Mary, you just attend to your own little knitting. I'll handle the show. Sing, Dennis. The guy that drank the bromo.
I dream of Jeannie with a light brown hair, born like a vapor on the golden air. I see her tripping where the bright spring plays, happy as a daisy along her way. Many are the wild notes a merry voice would call, many are the blithe birds that warble them all. Oh, I dream of Jeannie
Jeannie with the light brown hair sung by Dennis Day. And Dennis, those old songs always do something to me. I love them.
Me too.
Jeannie with the light brown hair. What a grand title. You know, Dennis, I used to have light brown hairman hair.
Why, Jack, from the pictures I've seen of you, I thought you had black hair.
No, Don, it was brown. Sort of a russet brown. You know, just like the leaves in autumn.
Well, rake 'em up and let's get on with the show.
Mary, I wish you'd stop with those interruptions. Anyway, Dennis, I noticed another thing. Your singing seems to improve every week. You're gaining poise and confidence.
Well, thanks, Mr. Benny.
Just think, this is your 7th week on my program.
7 weeks. Gee.
Yes, sir.
Am I going to get paid pretty soon?
Pretty soon, Dennis. And now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are going to...
Hey, Jackson, why don't you pay the kid?
Phil, I intend to pay him. I'm merely holding his salary until he's a little older. I'm teaching Dennis how to save money.
Well, he's learning from the top man.
Thanks, Miss Livingston. And if I were you, I wouldn't say another word unless you rube it up on the Lum and Abner program. And now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are going to...
Here you are, Dennis. Did you sing your song yet?
Yes, Mother.
Well, good evening, Mrs. Day.
Good evening.
Oh, Mother, you should have been here a few minutes ago. Mr. Benny told the funniest joke.
It was rather good. Tell it to her, Dennis.
Well, Mr. Benny was walking down the street leading a pink alligator.
Oh, Dude, eh?
Dude, it wasn't me, Mrs. Day. Dennis got the story all wrong. I never touch a drop of liquor.
Then why have you got that red nose?
Because I'm a comedian. What do you think? My tie lights up, too. This story, Mrs. Day, is about a man who takes a bromo seltzer and gets rid of a pink alligator.
What's funny about that?
Nothing. It's very sad. I'm crying like anything. Oh, what a dame.
What's that?
I said, oh, what a game. I saw UCLA play Santa Clara yesterday. It was thrilling. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you will please forgive my outburst, as I started to announce, tonight we are going to offer an original little playlet all about Thanksgiving, written especially for the occasion by Mary Livingston. Mary, let me have it, will you?
Oh, Jack, I forgot to tell you.
What?
I changed my mind about a Thanksgiving play, and I wrote a poem instead.
A poem?
Hey, Mary, you mean to say we're not going to do a Thanksgiving play?
No.
Gee, and I was all set to be one of them pilgrims.
Oh, fine. You'd make a great pilgrim, Phil.
Well, I would. Listen, buddy, my ancestors came over on the Mayflower.
Oh, did it dock in Dixie? I thought your family always lived in Tennessee.
Not originally. You see, we migrated from Massachusetts.
Migrated? You don't by any chance mean you migrated?
All right, we moved. Forget it.
Migrated. You hear that, Mary?
Yeah, he put in an extra syllable in it.
You're not palooling.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of the mood, let me say a few words about Jalelo.
Jalelo?
It is economical, easy to make, and comes in 6 delicious flavors. So look for the big red letters on the barack.
Thanks, Don. You surveyed the day. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we have no Thanksgiving play...
Mary Livingston's going to read a Thanksgiving poem.
Oh, no, nothing doing.
Oh, gee, it's swell, Jack.
I don't care. You're not going to read it.
Jack, Benny, you let me read this poem or I won't buy my Christmas card from you this year. All right, a lot I make on the ones you get. You don't even have your name printed on them. Now go ahead with your poem. Okay.
What's the title of it?
The title is Thanksgiving. You're a little mixed up, aren't you, kid?
Well, that fits. Go ahead.
Oh, Thanksgiving. Oh, Thanksgiving. You are with us twice this year. With your pumpkin pie and dressing, and your turkey, front and rear.
That's the part I always get.
The Pilgrims planned in days of yore that you'd come once, not anymore. But now you are a double feature. And we don't know which day to greet her.
Greet her?
That's what I said, you gorgeous creature.
Now, don't be funny. Go ahead with the poem.
Suppose we had 2 everythings. 2 New Year's Eves to laugh and sing. 2 Christmases, 2 Labor Days. And 2 Jack Bennies with 2 toupees.
Mary, you're too pressing. Are you through?
No, but I'm coming into the stretch.
Oh.
So Thanksgiving, I don't mind.
Well.
If you're a week before or a week behind. What's the difference? What the heck? The turkey's the guy that gets it in the neck. The end.
Very good. Mary, that was silly, but you came through with flying colors. And now, Phil, how about a number to kind of break things up here?
Okay, Jackson, what do you want us to play? Anything special?
Well?
You name it and we'll play it.
All right, how about that number you rehearsed all morning? You know, the only one you can possibly play.
Oh, okay. Hit it, boys.
He asked for request yet. Hold it a minute, Phil. Come in.
Mr. Benny?
Yes?
Are you a little mixed up on account of the 2 Thanksgivings this year?
Yes, I am. Why?
I was in a fog when we only had one. Goodbye.
He's not kidding, folks. He's got his shoes on backwards. Play, Phil. Cherry Berry Bean, a swing version of an old favorite played by Phil Harris and his orchestra. And now, fellas...
Hey, what's the matter? Aren't you going to complain about the number we just played?
No, Phil, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. Didn't you, Mary?
Yeah, it was swell. Did you like it, Don?
I thought it was okay. How'd you like it, Jack?
Oh, it was great. How'd you like Phil's number, Mary?
Well, I thought it was a little loud in spots, didn't you, Don?
Yes, it seemed a little off here and there. What did you think of it, Jack?
I thought it was lousy. And now, fellas...
Hey, what is this, a rib?
Yes, Phil, we were just kidding. I thought your number sounded exceptionally good. Didn't you, Mary?
Feel me out. I'm tired.
Now, fellas, as I started to say a little while ago, and before I forget it, Thursday being Thanksgiving, I want all of you to come over to my house for a real old-fashioned turkey dinner. How about it?
Oh, that's great, Jack. We'll be there with
Dennis, this invitation goes for you also.
His mother, too?
Yes, Mrs. Day, my party wouldn't be complete without you.
You don't sound very sincere about it.
Well, what do you want me to do, send you a mash note? Glad to have you. The more, the merrier. Good heavens.
Say, Jack, is this party going to be like the one you gave last Thanksgiving?
What do you mean?
I mean, is the turkey going to be leg of lamb?
Don't worry about that, Mary. This is going to be a real dinner. I've got the biggest, fattest, juiciest turkey you ever saw.
Where'd you run over it?
I didn't run over it. It's a live turkey. I got it in my garage right now. It's roosting on my Maxwell.
That's all that car needs.
Now, you wait till you see that bird. I bet it weighs 65 pounds.
65 pounds? Why, Jack, you must be mistaken about that.
Oh, no, I'm not, Don. I had it on the scales. It's an enormous thing.
65 pounds. Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. Wait till next Thursday and you'll see for yourself. It's going to be a swell party.
How many people are you expecting, Jack?
Well, there'll be our gang, and then I invited Clark Gable and Carol Lombard, Bob Taylor and Barbara Stanwyck, Tyrone Power and Annabella.
Oh, Jack, you always ask them to every party you give, and they never show up.
Well?
Why don't you stop inviting them?
I can't stop now. They'll think I'm mad at them. You know how it is.
How can they be mad at you when they don't even know 'em?
I don't even know them. Listen, Phil, I know every one of those stars personally.
Sure, Jack sells them their Christmas cards.
Mary, will you stop harping on that? The only reason you ever got cards from me is because I happen to have some left over.
Every year.
Oh, quiet. Now, don't forget, fellas, Thursday night at my house.
Oh, we'll be
there,
there, Jack. You know that.
Boy, we're going to have a big turkey and cranberry sauce and mashed potatoes. And, Don, guess what kind of Jell-O we're going to have for dessert?
Strawberry?
No.
Raspberry?
No.
Cherry?
No.
Orange?
No.
Lemon?
No. Give up?
Yes.
Lie. You see, Don, you almost had it.
There's a kindergarten commercial if I ever heard one.
Never mind, that's what we're going to have. Now, look, kids, if I don't see you again before Thanksgiving, be sure and be at my house by 7 o'clock sharp. And don't eat a big lunch so you'll really enjoy the turkey. I'll take it. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny. This is Rochester.
All right, what do you want?
Well, boss, I just heard you talking about a big Thanksgiving party Thursday night. That's my night off.
I'm sorry, Rochester, but you'll have to work. You can take a day off some other time.
I can get my twin brother to take my place.
I don't want your twin brother.
Well, he looks just like me.
I don't care if he did. I want you to be at my house on Thursday night.
How about me in spirit and my brother in person?
Rochester, don't try any tricks. I can tell the difference between you and your twin brother.
That's more than this gal can.
Never mind. Now, look, Rochester, I want you to get that turkey up to 70 pounds by Thanksgiving, so go out in the garage and feed it.
I'm working on a Christmas card.
They can wait. Now, go out in the garage and feed the turkey.
Okay. Oh, say, boss, I meant to ask you something about that bird. Are you sure it's a turkey?
What do you mean, am I sure it's a turkey?
Well, I went out in the garage a few minutes ago and she laid an egg as big as a cantaloupe.
As big as a cantaloupe? What are you talking about?
Not only that, but every time I go in there, she sticks her head in a bucket of sand.
What?
Boss, you bought an ostrich.
I bought an ostrich?
That's right. She just ate the headlights off your car.
The headlights? How do you know?
She had 2 Adam's apples and they were going down fast.
It's all your fault, Rochester. You were with me when I went shopping for a turkey. Why did you let me buy an ostrich?
I told you it was a pretty big bird for the money, but you know you.
Well, I guess there's nothing we can do about it now. Isn't that awful? I got a polar bear in the guest room and an ostrich in the garage.
And mice in the pantry. Let's move out.
Now, don't get panicky, Rochester. I'll be home in a few minutes. Meanwhile, call up the market and order a turkey.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, say, boss.
What?
Have you changed your mind about using my twin brother Thursday night?
No, I haven't.
Well, I'll figure out something. Goodbye.
Wait a minute. Rochester! Rochester! Well, I'll be darned.
What's the matter, Jack?
Plenty, that big turkey I bought turned out to be an ostrich.
Oh, boy, you're going to be lonesome on Thanksgiving.
I am not. Now, Mary, don't worry. We're going to have a swell dinner. Play, Phil. I wonder if you can eat an ostrich. I don't
This year, some folks are celebrating Thanksgiving on the 23rd of the month, others on the 30th. Well, either way, I'd like to offer a suggestion in regard to your holiday menu. For dinner, of course, there'll be plum pudding or pumpkin pie. But later on in the evening, when supper time comes, bring the day's feasting to a fitting close with a truly out-of-the-ordinary dessert. A shimmering dish of golden lemon jello. Now, there's really a luscious-looking dessert, ladies and gentlemen. A grand treat full of the ripe, tingling flavor of juicy lemons fresh from the tree and glowing with the warm color of sunshine. And you can serve it in shapely molds garnished with fruit, nuts, and maraschino cherries. Or it can be sliced into dainty cubes, tumbled into parfait glasses, and topped with snowy whipped cream. Either way, it adds up to a mighty slick dessert that will catch every eye and capture every taste. And that goes for all the rest of Jell-O's 6 delicious flavors. Strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, and lime. Jell-O, remember, is a light dessert. Just the thing to appeal after a heavy midday meal. And it's quick and easy to make and Mother will appreciate it after cooking a big Thanksgiving dinner. So order genuine Jell-O from your grocer tomorrow.
Number of the 7th program in the current Jell-O series, and we will be with you again next Sunday night at the same time. Now, don't forget, Mary, next Thursday night at my house for a real Thanksgiving dinner.
Count me out, Jack.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not going to serve that ostrich. I'm going to have a turkey.
Oh, you are, eh?
Yes.
Well, if I find a headlight in the dressing, watch out.
Oh, don't worry. Good night, folks, and a happy Thanksgiving. Here's news. Every Tuesday night, the Aldrich Family is on the air, starring Ezra Stone as Henry Aldrich, that lovable hard luck kid. Consult your local newspaper or radio guide for time and stations, and be sure to tune in on the Aldrich Family next Tuesday night.
Bluebirds in the Moonlight is from Gulliver's Travels. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
From America, greetings on Thanksgiving Day, 1944.
This is Lionel Barrymore, men, your old collection of hash marks. And they've put me here at the head of this Thanksgiving table to dish out the entertainment victuals to you fellas overseas. By way of an appetizer, Percy Faith and the orchestra are offering a medley of tunes as American as a hot dog and a ham sandwich on rye. Music from America, north, east, south, and west. all the folks around the table for Thanksgiving. And we are mighty pleased this particular member timed a trip abroad so she'd be back with us today. Dinah Shaw.
Everybody, this is Dinah. And this being Thanksgiving, Wally Brown has turned host and invited us over to his house for Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, thank heaven. It was beginning to look like Eatless Thursday. Let's go. Come on.
Well, I guess this is the house.
Well, Dinah Shaw.
Well, Wally Brown.
Gee, Dinah, I'm glad you were able to make it. What did you do, bring your own turkey?
Turkey? Wally, that's Harry Von Zell.
Just a minute here. I do not look like a turkey. Or do I?
Well, not a live one. Well, come on in. Come on in. Make yourselves at home.
Gee, you got a nice place here, Wally. You were lucky to find a house like this with a swimming pool and all.
Oh, it isn't bad. All except the front walk.
What's wrong with the front walk?
Every time I come home at night, I bump into those gasoline pumps. I mean, you...
Oh. You see, I told you, Dinah, that wasn't the swimming pool we passed. That was the grease pit.
Come on, here. Let me hang your things up.
Oh, brother, look at the moths in that closet.
Oh, Harry, where's your holiday spirit? After all, it's Thanksgiving for moths, too.
Sure. What can a moth eat? Just a stuffed cup on a blue fleet?
Well, now, look, fellas, can't we talk later? I'm hungry.
Harry, where are your manners? Don't be so impatient.
Well, I'm not impatient.
Then stop chasing that moth.
Well, let's get started. Dinah, you sit over here,
okay.
And Harry, you sit over in that high chair.
Oh, thank you. Wait, a high chair? Wait a minute, this thing is a trap. I won't be able to get at the food.
I think of everything, don't I? Well, how do you like it? Look at that turkey. He was raised strictly on corn.
Yes. And around here he had plenty to eat, too.
Oh, wait. Okay, kids, pass your plates. Harry, leave your teeth alone.
No, I didn't.
Wrong plate. Hey, butter! Look, he's got butter! Butter he's got! Wonderful stuff. Harry, it goes on the bread. You don't spread it all over town.
I haven't had... excuse me. Yeah. Wally, please, just a moment. It happens that's my elbow you're dunking in the gravy there.
Well, anything with meat on it these days. Tell you what I'll do. I'll give you 4 points for it.
I'll take it.
Okay, kids. What do you have?
I'll have some white meat.
There you are. Harry, what part would you like?
Well, what's the difference? I know what part I'll get.
Oh, well, this is a pretty good dinner. if I have to say so myself. And I guess I'll have to say so myself. This is a pretty good dinner. Oh, Thanksgiving. Strange how it all started, isn't it?
Tell us a Thanksgiving story, Wally.
Oh, but that's done it. And after dinner storyteller, you probably will do card tricks, too.
You talked me into it. Well, it started way back in there was a boatload of pilgrims. They left from they landed at they were poor. They didn't have any, they were on the rocks. There were hundreds of them. They were all trying to, but there wasn't enough room. I mean, how could they all fit into one Plymouth?
Wally, who was at the head of this party?
Oh, this really wasn't a party, Dinah. It was very serious. Everybody worked. There was one fellow who worked like his name was John Smith. The one and only John Smith, but he branched out. Well, look at the telephone book now. Boy, that Smith guy, he really got around. He liked to travel. He was a hitchhiker. He took a ride he went as far as, he went up to he was right in the middle of he was lost. But he had a check, only he couldn't get it cashed. The banks were closed. I mean, they always are on Thanksgiving. That first Thanksgiving. What a crowd. I'll wait. What a crowd. More people were trying to, you couldn't even park and in those days, they didn't have any. I mean, everybody came. Even the Indians came. They had a reservation.
Thank you, Dinah Shaw, Wally Brown, and Harry Von Zell. And now, gang, here's another neighbor who's dropped in on us for a free drumstick. John Charles Thomas.
The chorus and I would like to sing the beautiful old Dutch traditional hymn of Thanksgiving. Or you may know it as We Gather Together to Ask the Lord's Blessing. Sing praises to his name. He forgets not his own. Beside us to guide us, our God with us joining, ordaining, maintaining his kingdom divine. So from the beginning, the fight we were winning. The Lord was at our side. All glory be thine. We all do extol thee, thou leader in battle, and pray that thou still our defender wilt be. Let thy congregation and sacred tribulation, thy name be ever praised. O Lord, make us free. Lord, make us
Now, since it's Thanksgiving Day, fellas, let's look in on the typical American home. The time is just after dinner, and we find ourselves in the living room of the Lancelot Higgins household, which boasts that sweet, unforgettable character, Baby Snooks.
Oh, what a meal.
Daddy.
Snooks, please. I can just about stagger to that couch.
I got a funny feeling in my tummy.
Funny feeling?
Yeah.
You feel like you didn't get enough to eat?
No, I feel like I don't want all I got.
Well, just drink some water and forget about it.
I can't forget about it.
Why not?
'Cause I'm hungry.
You just said you had too much to eat. Now you're hungry.
I'm sleepy, too.
Well, go to bed.
Daddy, I ain't that sleepy.
Snooks, it's Thanksgiving. Let me go through one whole evening without punishing you.
All right, Daddy. You got my permission.
Oh, this is a night for gratefulness, for benevolence. Look, why don't you run across the street and ask how old Mrs. Hooper is?
I did, Daddy, just like you told me.
What did she say?
He said it's none of your business how old she is.
Well, then go inside and help Mummy with the dishes.
Why don't you do it?
Because a man's place is not in the kitchen.
Is it on the couch?
Now, don't be impertinent. Just run along and stay away from that icebox. If you eat any more turkey, you'll turn into a turkey.
Oh, I talk like a turkey?
Yes.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
Oh, the child is right. I suppose I should go in and help the little woman with the dishes. But then why should I spoil her? I'm so clumsy I might break one. Thanks.
Daddy.
Snooks, is that your voice? Where are you?
Right here.
Where? All I see is a scrawny little turkey.
That's me.
You? Good heavens, Snooks. How did you get to be a turkey?
He said if I eat any more, I'll turn into one.
Oh, Snooks, you didn't go back for more turkey, did you? Did you?
Didn't I?
And look at me. I'm covered with feathers. Could it be that I'm a turkey, too? Could that be?
Could be.
Snooks, this is weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Lancelot Higgins, a turkey. Gone, my bubbling laughter. My flashing smile. What can I say to the neighbors?
I know, Daddy.
What?
Gobble, 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 gobble.
This is no time for jokes. I'm a turkey. And yet I don't feel like a turkey.
How do you feel, Daddy?
Foul. Not bad, eh?
Daddy.
What?
You may be a turkey, but you ain't changed much.
Oh. Why, look, Snooks. We're right in the middle of a barnyard. If I didn't know I was wide awake, I'd think I was dreaming.
Daddy, there's a duck with eyeglasses.
Quiet, Snooks. It may be Frank Tours.
And look at that cute little chicken.
Oh, chicken, eh? Cute little chicken. Well, greetings, my feathered friends. Where is this luscious leghorn?
Frank Morgan.
Daddy, Mr. Morgan is a hen.
Correction, my mealy-mouthed little muffin. I happen to be a rooster. The hen is the female of the species. Bless their little hearts.
I'm certainly glad to see you, Frank. We're new in this barnyard.
Well, I'm just visiting myself. I have a farm of my own, you know.
That's funny, Daddy. He's a rooster, and he has a farm.
Well, what's funny about it?
Do you crow in the morning to wake yourself up?
Oh, she's such a girl. Of course, I have a farm with cows and chickens and ducks, and I have a prize bull that weighs 10,000 pounds.
10,000 pounds?
Oh, yes.
Ain't that a terrible lot of bull, Mr. Morgan?
Everywhere I go, I get the same thing. Well, see you later. I have a date with with a gorgeous Guernsey at one of the local watering troughs. Elsie's her name. She's a model for Borden's.
Goodbye, Frank. Don't get yourself into any hot water.
Hot water? What have I got to worry about? I'm not a turkey.
Snooks, I didn't like that laugh. What made him laugh?
Maybe his feathers tickle.
No. Snooks, do you know what day this is?
Mm-hmm. It's Thanksgiving Day.
Exactly. Do you know what that means?
Sure, it means we're going to have turkey for dinner.
No, we're the turkeys. They're going to have us for dinner.
Who?
Us. Oh, what was that?
It's a man with a gun, Daddy. It's Mr. Mudge.
Mudge?
Yeah.
Why, of all people, he hates me. He'll wring my neck. Snooks, you've got to protect me.
I got to protect you?
Yes. I'm a great big, heavy-set bird. You're just a runt.
Why don't you protect me?
Don't be silly. Who'd want to eat a scrawny, sawed-off, tired-looking little turkey like you? Listen. He's got a machine gun.
That ain't a machine gun, Daddy.
Oh, what is it?
It's your knees knocking.
Oh. Snooks, he's coming this way. Talk to him. I'll hide behind this rock.
All right, Daddy. Leave it to me.
Hey, you. You haven't seen a turkey around here named Lancelot Higgins.
Lancelot Higgins?
Yes, he's that big flannel-mouthed bag of wind who used to live next door to me.
Never heard of him.
Don't give me that. I know he's around somewhere. You know what I'm going to do when I catch him?
You're going to stuff him.
Right. And then you know what I'm going to do?
Uh-huh.
What?
You're going to kick the stuffings out of him.
Exactly. What was that?
It's somebody's knees knocking.
Whose knees?
Flannel mouth.
Oh-ho!
Run, Daddy. He's on to you.
Snooks, stop splashing. Where are we?
We're in a swimming pool, Daddy.
Well, look over the side and see what's cooking.
All right. Daddy.
What?
We're cooking.
I knew it. He's boiling us alive.
You're going to taste awful good, Higgins.
Mudge, you can't do it.
Stop him, Daddy.
You can't cook us alive. It's murder. Let me out of here. Let me out of here. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out.
Daddy.
Daddy. Oh, Snooks, it's you.
Who'd you think it was?
Oh, you're not a turkey, are you?
No, I'm Snooks.
Oh, Snooks, my little girl. Oh, you've never looked more adorable.
Me?
Yes. Come here and let me kiss you.
Don't you feel well, Daddy?
Never felt better, Snooks. And I just realized we have a lot to be thankful for. Here I've been sleeping on the couch while your mother's been doing the dishes. Well, I'm going right in and straighten up the kitchen with her.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow I'll clean up the woodwork with her. And I'll think of something else for Saturday.
Mommy's already thought of something.
Oh, she has? How do you know?
Well, she just said she was going to mop up the floor with you.
Now I'm really cooked.
Thank you, Fanny Bryce, Hanley Stafford, and Frank Morgan. Now, Dinah Shaw and the chorus join to bring us an Irving Berlin song inspired by the American spirit of Thanksgiving.
Thanks for the Yanks, and for Russia's giant guns, and for all the other sons of freedom. Thanks for the Yanks, and for China and the Dutch, and for all who've done so much for freedom. For Canada, for England, Australia and New Zealand, for fighting French and millions more along the South Pacific shore. They will keep their native land a free land. We've got plenty to be thankful for.
I've got plenty to be thankful for. I haven't got a great big yacht to sail from shore to shore. Still, I've got plenty to be thankful for. private car, no caviar, no carpet on my floor. Still, I've got plenty to be thankful for the men who bear the title of the United States Marine. And for those men who shout, anchors away.
And for each proudly sail as they hit the dusty trail, and those caissons go rolling along.
And all the men who fly, spouting their flame from under, off with one hell of a roar. I'm thankful too that this is true.
Nothing will stop the Army Air Force. We've got plenty to be thankful for.
How could anybody ask for more? My needs are small. I buy them all at the 5 and 10 cent store. Yes, I've got plenty to be thankful
This is Lionel Barrymore, fellas, winding up this Thanksgiving spread with just one or two more words. It's pretty tough for any soldier or sailor to get excited about Thanksgiving Day when he's a few thousand miles away from home and the cranberry sauce. But let's all be thankful anyway that we've got a country to come home to that's rich in its natural bounties and opportunities, and rich in its friendship with other nations who have proven themselves strong and helpful in hastening that day when tyranny ends, and we celebrate a real Thanksgiving.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
My name's Regan. I get 10 a day in expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Anthony J. Lyon. They call me the Lion's Eye.
With Jack Webb as Jeff Regan, the Lion's Eye, stand by for hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of the Pilgrim's Progress.
The Cosmopolitan Building, 7th Street near Olive, downtown L.A. A mess of granite thrown together by an architect who must have taken his degree on the rock pile at Leavenworth. It's up on the 3rd floor, room 308, right next to a credit dentist who shares his office with a collection agency. On the other side, there's a school for models. and the Lions got sore eyes trying to see through that cloudy glass. International Detective Bureau. Anthony J. Lyon, President. He's also Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer. I work for him. Well, the office isn't much, but there's enough elbow room for a client to write a check. I went to the office Friday night about 5:20, answering the Lion's call. He was sitting behind the desk sucking on a quarter cigar. He looked real pleased, like a fat lady locked in a cream puff factory.
Man I know had a baby. Plumber named Broman or Groman or something like that.
Mazel tov.
Cancel any arrangements you got for the night. I got something for you to do. Got your car?
It's in the lot.
Gas it up. You're taking a trip.
Where to?
Calabasas. A man wants to see you.
I got no friends out there.
Friend of mine, named Hendricks. He counts his money with an adding machine, and his finger's always swollen.
Well, what's the problem?
I don't know. He didn't say. He just called and told me to send out a man.
How much did he give you for a retainer?
When an important man like Hendricks calls, you don't insult him by asking for money.
Oh, stop it, will you? You're the kind of guy who'd steal pennies out of parking meters.
That's enough, Regan.
If one of them turned up empty, you'd sue the city.
Here's the Hendricks address. Now get out there.
All right.
Regan.
Yeah?
Remember, do a good job, and I'll give you Thanksgiving off, and I'll pay you.
With what, cranberries? Well, I headed out Beverly and then up through Hollywood. You know, it's only November, but Santa Claus is breaking out all over the boulevard. I fought my way over Cahuenga Pass, and by the time I was dodging station wagons on Ventura, it was dark. Calabasas is a place with a couple of service stations, a hot dog stand, and a few road signs full of buckshot. The Hendricks place turned out to be about 5 miles down a road that the Indians built for hauling firewater. I guess they couldn't keep the cork in. But the house itself was strictly prohibition stuff. A big pile of slate roof and leaded windows. It looked dark and lonesome. I figured somebody had their holidays mixed.
Hiya, Pilgrim.
He was a big fat guy. He was holding a 6-foot gun in the shape of a straightened-out tuba. He came closer, and I could see his hat. It was a high one with a buckle on it. He was dressed in black, and he had buckles all over him. I figured that I'd been eating too much Quaker oats.
What's the matter, Pilgrim? A little shooting make you nervous?
That's a big gun there.
Shoots musket balls. Good for Indians.
Well, I'm no Indian.
Well, I wasn't aiming at you.
Well, that gun wouldn't know the difference.
It's a blunderbuss. Great weapon.
Is it?
I'll show you. Hey, you prop her up on a crutch.
You keep fooling with that thing, and we'll both need one.
Now, let's be quiet. Load the barrels. Lots of powder.
Look, why don't you give that thing back to the museum?
See, that's it. It's more powder. Gotta use lots of this black powder.
Buster, you need black coffee. Come on, give me that thing before it blows up in your face. You broke a window.
Oh, it's all right. It was only the attic.
You live here?
Of course not, Pilgrim. I'm Miles Standish.
Well, where's the rest of the party?
All inside, talking to John Olden.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you just think I'm kidding, don't you? Pilgrim, you just haven't got the Mayflower spirit.
No, you drank it all.
It's just cider. Nothing better on a cold New England night.
Thanksgiving's not for a week. Come on, get off it.
Hark.
What's the matter? Put that down.
I'm not going to shoot him. He's a friendly type.
Brother Regan?
Yeah?
If thou wilt follow me, please.
Oh, you too, huh?
I beg your pardon?
Okay.
Well, so long, Pilgrim.
Yeah, keep your powder dry, Sandy.
I'll see you on Plymouth Rock.
Okay, this way, Brother Regan.
Now, look, Sunshine, you work here.
My name is Phelps.
Why don't you lock that guy up?
I'd be outnumbered, sir. There are 21 Pilgrims.
Bad winter. They make you wear those corduroy knickers?
Knee breeches, sir. It was Priscilla's idea.
You need a union.
I need more shapely legs. Through here.
Well, it's quite a place you got.
Well, it looks better without the decorations, sir.
Yeah. How do you keep from stepping on these pumpkins?
It's only when they use them for bowling that it's difficult.
Come on, fill me in. What's this all about?
Thanksgiving, sir. 1621. Okay, this room here, sir. Go right in.
Okay.
Shut the door. Shut it.
Mr. Hendricks around?
He's not here. Come over, sit down.
Who are you, Priscilla?
Don't. Please don't say another word of that silly rigmarole or I'll start screaming.
Yeah, well, I could use a little yell myself.
I'm Agnes. I'm Mrs. Hendricks. Or Agnes.
It doesn't make any difference.
It does to my friends. Didn't I say sit down?
Yes, you did, and I didn't. So you don't like the party, huh?
I'm not much of a Puritan, Mr. Regan.
Well, that Great Dane says the masquerade was your idea.
Phelps is stupid. This goes on all weekend, Mr. Regan. It's called a turkey shoot.
Well, so that's it. Who gets the bird?
The Pilgrim Fathers, my husband's friends. They ought to be shot, every one of them.
Yeah, well, I'm not from the SPCA.
Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Regan. I like you.
That's not the point.
I won't bore you.
Your husband might.
Him. He's crazy, Mr. Regan. Crazy as the things he does. Shooting, drinking, spending money.
It's a hard life.
I don't know how I stood it for as long as I have. My lawyer says I'm the most patient woman in the world.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the conversation, Miss Hendricks.
Why did my husband send for you?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. You do know. Tell me.
I don't know.
Please. You don't realize what kind of a man my husband can be.
I never met him.
You don't know how much I need help. How lonely I am.
Well, where is he?
Tell you if you promise to come back to me.
No, I'll write you a letter.
He's out in the shed, other side of the patio.
Thanks.
I wouldn't act this way if I weren't so frightened. You don't know what it is to be frightened all the time.
No, but I'm learning.
I wish you'd stick around, Mr. Regan.
Well, thanks, Miss Hendricks, but the pin feathers are a little sharp. Miss Hendricks went back to her worrying, and I wound my way through the house looking for the back entrance. My legs got tired before it finally showed on the other side of the pantry. It poured out into a flagstone patio as big as the Palladium. A walk took me to a shed. It was a two-story redwood place that must have made a loud noise on the cash register, and alongside, fenced in with chicken wire, was a whole population of turkeys. Well, I went into the shed. There was a little round-faced guy with pink skin was leaning over a barrel of cider. He wore a blue silk smoking jacket with gold initials EH on the pocket. When he caught my footsteps, his head bobbed up, and he gave me a deep look like he was trying to see the back of my eyeball.
Yes?
I'm Regan, International Detective Bureau.
Oh, I've been expecting you. I'm Hendricks.
Yeah, no. Why the fireworks?
Huh? Oh. Miles Standish and his blunderbuss, huh? Oh, just having fun. It's a party, you know. Big party we're having here.
Yeah, well, the neighbors will complain.
Ah, neighbors. None for miles around. That's why I like it out here. Have trouble finding me?
You ought to put up signs.
Signs? Glass of cider, Regan? Carefully. Glass.
I'm not thirsty.
Yeah, that's not what it's for. Strong kind. Oh, go on. Thanksgiving soon. Get in the spirit.
No, I can hold out till Thursday.
Suit yourself. Excuse me. It's going to be quite a party here, you know.
Your wife's got a different version.
Oh, you spoke to her?
Yeah.
You were told to come out here to see me?
I got sidetracked.
It's not good for a man in your position.
All right, Hendricks, why am I here?
What'd she say to you?
I forgot.
Regan, you're making me angry.
Now, look, mister, you didn't get me out here to make a pilgrim out of me.
No, of course not. Fine woman, Mrs. Hendricks. We've been married for years, you know, happily. Fine little woman. Still, she makes me a little nervous at times.
Don't you like the sound of guns going off?
She shouldn't get so excited. Boys just having a little fun. It's only once a year. What's wrong with that?
Come on, now, what's the job?
Didn't the lion tell you?
He said you would.
Oh, well, nothing to be so mysterious about. They've just got a package I want you to take to them. Here it is. That's it.
You got me all the way out here to play escort to that bird?
Well, I just want to be friendly. Here. Now, go on. It's a long way back to L.A., and you want to be there for Thanksgiving.
What's the difference? I got the turkey. I can celebrate any time. 60 miles to do a delivery job on a dead bird. Well, I wandered back to my car, and I listened to the crickets and the gunshots try to outdo each other. And then I dumped the turkey into the back seat, and I started the car down the drive. I just thrown it around the bend when the headlights caught a pair of buckled shoes and black knee breeches. Miles Standish was lying face down in the dirt, and there was a wet shine on his side. It was freezing hard. The blunderbuss was lying beside him, and I figured that he blew out the wrong end. I would have gone for the Hendricks phone and the doctor, but I got a good look at the holes in them, and I headed for a hospital instead. The blunderbuss may have been kicking up a fuss, but the holes in Miles Standish were 20th century, about the size of a .32. Well, I turned him over to an emergency hospital, and I put a call into the sheriff's office. I gave the story to Lieutenant Robinson, and then I headed back toward town. At the Lyons place, the lights were still on, so I figured he didn't have company. I rapped on the door, and he flung it open before the echo could die away. He had a carving knife in one hand, and he was wearing an apron. His eyes were big, and he had an eager look like a college couple on Mulholland Drive.
Regan, you're back.
Oh, now that takes a big brain.
I've been waiting for you. You know, I had a chance to go to a classy party tonight. Russian caviar and champagne and favors to all the guests. You know why I didn't go?
You lost your trash suit, huh?
I said to myself, is it fair to go out and have a good time while my employee is working real hard for international detectives?
The answer came out yes, but the party was called off.
Well, as a matter of fact, it was. But I wouldn't have gone anyway. Where is it?
Where's what?
The package from Hendricks.
Now, you can change your plans, big shot. You're getting a bundle of trouble instead.
What do you mean?
Turkeys aren't the only thing they're knocking off out on that ranch.
Huh?
Somebody's handy with a .32, and he's found a target.
You've been drinking?
Check the county emergency hospital. They'll show you the holes.
I send you out on a simple little job, and you come back with a crazy story about a shooting. You're out of your mind.
Now, listen, you. There's a big smell out in Calabasas.
What about my turkey?
The sheriff's office are going to have a lot of questions. You got the answers?
I don't know anything. I was miles away.
Well, then find out something. Check into the guy who shot. Find out who he is, what he does, and what he was doing out at Hendricks.
Where you going?
Scratch around in the Hendricks closet. They tell different stories about their wedded bliss.
Hey, Regan.
Yeah?
Where's my turkey?
It's too rich for your blood, Fatso. Stick to chicken. Well, I left him standing there with his apron hanging out. Miles Standish might get enough wind through that extra hole to say who shot him, but more likely not. Anyway, with the bucket load he had, he would have sworn it was the last of the Mohicans. But there was an angle of that Hendricks woman, even if it didn't show. So I walked up the street to where my car was nuzzling a lamppost. And the turkey and I were just going to wake up a newspaper office, only something changed my mind. A newspaper. It was wrapped around a bundle, and the bundle was under a guy's arm, and the arm was shutting the door of my car. Good evening, Pop.
Hi.
Going somewhere?
Sure. Find a place to sleep, that's all.
Want a cigarette?
Say, I don't mind if I do. Let's use a bull for a minute. You mind if I take two?
No, help yourself.
My brother smokes too. Not much in the streets these days.
It's bad all over.
Yeah, something ought to be done.
Stick around, Pop.
No, Sonny. You give me smokes. I don't hit you for cash. It's a rule I got.
I'll make the touch.
What's that?
What's in the newspaper?
Russia.
Inside.
The funny paper.
Yeah, sure.
Well, now take it easy, boss. The guy's got a right to his privacy.
You weren't sleeping in my car.
Oh, so that's it, huh? Yours, huh? Small world, ain't it?
Yeah, come on, let's unwrap.
Now, it's Thanksgiving, Mac. Ain't you heard of Thanksgiving?
I'm going to plug my ears. Give.
Now, please, Mac, show me the spirit. Once in my life, both drumsticks.
Now, stop it. You're breaking my heart.
I mean it, Mac. Let me have it. I'll break the wishbone for you, Sonny. I will. You ain't got no use for all that meat, have you? Oh, you have, huh? Well, so long, Mac.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold it.
No, I let go of my arm.
That was a pretty dance, but you should have changed your shoes.
What's that?
You didn't get those buckles in the bloodline.
Oh.
Now, come on, change the record. Who are you?
That's none of your business. Let go.
I said talk.
I will not.
You're from the Hendricks place, aren't you? You're from the... Oh.
Thank you, Phelps.
That's all right. Got the bed?
Sure. Let's go.
Yeah. Nighty-night, Pilgrim.
You are listening to the story of the Pilgrim's Progress, tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, investigator. Commissions are still available in the Army Nurse Corps. Graduate registered nurses between the ages of 21 and 45 may qualify for service with this fine organization. If you are interested in joining the Army Nurse Corps and believe you qualify for a commission, apply to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. And now, back to Jeff Regan, investigator, and the story of the Pilgrim's Progress.
Well, none of it made sense. The Lion sent me out to pick up a turkey on the Hendricks Ranch in Calabasas, and the Mr. and Mrs. were having an old-fashioned turkey shoot, and all the guests carried blunderbusses and dressed like pilgrims. Only it wasn't just the turkeys who were acting as targets. One of the pilgrims ended up with some .32 caliber holes in them. And then the Hendricks lackey and a buddy shoved a gun at me and stole the Lion's bird. Well, I picked myself up and I went home. A heavy man was doing a heist job in my icebox. He was pouring himself a glass of milk to wash down a sandwich he was munching on.
Hi, Regan.
You're right ahead. Help yourself.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't know how long I was going to have to wait, and I was getting hungry.
There's a restaurant just up the block.
I like it better this way, homemade. Fix you a sandwich? Pretty good deviled ham.
Come on, let's close the box and open your mouth, buddy.
Why not? We had a date, remember? Robinson, sheriff's office.
That's what I figured.
You don't mind me coming in like this, do you?
What if I did?
Well, I'd leave. Sanctity of the home, you know. You can throw me out even though I got a badge.
Let's cut away the fat, mister. What do you want?
Answers to a couple of questions. What were you doing at the Hendricks place?
Picking up a turkey?
Well, that's a new one.
Now, look, you ask him. I'll answer him. Never mind the feature page.
How long have you known the Hendricks?
Never met him before.
Wrong answer.
What do you mean?
We found this out at the Hendricks house. A page torn out of the yellow directory with a red circle around International Detective.
Well, that doesn't say a thing.
Maybe yes, maybe no. I'm still scratching around.
It'll ruin your manicure.
You know, Regan, you don't seem to realize the seriousness of this. That pilgrim you dragged in died.
Well, I figured.
We don't like unsolved murders messing up our record books.
Well, then you're wasting your time here.
I got lots of it. I don't come up for pension for 12 more years. What was that pilgrim's name?
He gave me Miles Standish.
Sounds like a fake.
Well, don't count on it. I once knew a John Smith.
Give me the real name.
I don't have it.
All right. He's an out-of-town boy, but we'll track him down. Now, straighten out something for me, Regan. How long did you say you knew the Hendricks?
Now, look, I gave this to you once. Nothing's changed.
How come we find a $5,000 check in that joker's pocket made out to cash and signed by Hendricks? Go ahead, answer. Just don't make a date. You may not be available.
Yeah?
Mr. Regan, this is Mrs. Hendricks. I must see you right away.
What did you say?
Mrs. Hendricks, you remember?
Charlie? No, there's no Charlie here. You must have the wrong number.
Sort of annoying, isn't it, Regan, when you get a wrong number late at night?
Well, it happens.
Sure it does. Happened to me once.
Anything else you want?
Another deviled ham sandwich?
Kitchen's closed.
Pretty rotten hospitality.
Well, you weren't asked.
Okay, I gotta move anyway. See you later, Regan. Keep the mud off your shoes.
ER3408.
Hello?
Mrs. Hendricks, this is Regan.
I just called you.
Well, I couldn't talk. What do you want?
Can you come out, Mr. Regan? Right away.
You're still lonely?
Things aren't going well.
Well, murder's like that.
I've got to talk to somebody. Won't you please come?
Give me a reason.
I can tell you some things now I couldn't mention before.
Like why your husband wrote a $5,000 check to the dead man?
Check? But there must be some mistake.
What do you mean?
My husband couldn't write a check that large. He doesn't have any money of his own. It's all in my name.
All right. Put a lantern in the window, lady. I'll need some light. Well, I headed out there fast. But when I raised the racket with a brass knocker, nothing happened. I tried a window, and a couple of scratches later, I was in the hall. The place looked empty, like the Rose Bowl on January 2nd. I found Miss Hendricks' room, where I talked to her and stepped inside. The decorations were different.
Sheriff's office. Robinson.
This is Regan. I got something for you.
It better be good.
You're going into overtime.
What do you mean?
Bring some boys out to the Hendricks place with a wet rag. Somebody blew out Mr. Hendricks' fuse. Well, I backed out of the room, and I made it for the bar trying to turn up a bottle. In the corner, something else turned up instead. Another dead body. The turkey Phelps and his buddy had stolen from me. Somebody real eager had done a carving job on it before it was even cooked. They'd torn it apart like they were looking for something. Well, it was morning before the sheriff's boys cleaned up the Hendricks mess and we got back to town. Robinson had a few more questions, but I was still short on the answers. Ballistics had one, though. Same gun did the job on both Miles Standish and Hendricks. That's all. Homicide was getting places in a hurry, like a snail hauling a piano. Well, the Lion was waiting for me outside the sheriff's office, and he pulled me to the side. His eyes were lit up like a pinball machine, and you could tell he'd caught the scent of a greenback.
They tricked you okay, Regan?
Good enough.
No rough stuff?
Well, nothing that shows, no.
Thinking we're in luck. I've been turning up things. We've been playing the wrong horse.
Well, that figures you're good at picking losers.
Hendricks is a piker, a social climber.
He's a dead one.
I'll send him flowers. But I'm telling you, he could only write checks for 5 G's.
With a big bounce.
Somebody else in this thing can write bigger ones.
Well, let me guess who.
Mrs. Hendricks, that's who. I tell you, Regan, it pays to keep up your connection.
How high can she go?
The sky is below sea level.
What else you got?
Standish is a phony moniker.
That's grammar school.
Real name Jeffrey Kelly, age 42. He's a wholesale jeweler. He had a little business with Mrs. H. $250,000 worth.
That's going to run up his taxes.
He can handle it.
What did he do for her?
I drew a blank, but he deposited her certified check in the bank yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm. How does Phelps figure?
I don't know.
Well, who's the little man in the big overcoat?
I can't do everything. You got to do some work, too.
Yeah, sure.
Now, find Mrs. Hendricks. Offer her the services of international detective at our usual nominal rate, but don't underplay it. Now, get busy.
Where are you going?
Home to bed. A man's got to get some sleep.
Well, the time was ticking out, but the game wasn't over yet. I figured to have a fast finish, and the Lion had a pretty good idea about catching some shut-eye. So I moved to the office and to stretch out on the couch. But through the glass, I could see there was a light on. Company was inside.
Crestview 2045. Phelps, no luck. I looked all over. I told you, I tore the place apart. Nothing's here. I'm trying my best. Stop harping. Oh, well, it must be someplace else. Okay, right away.
Leave a nickel, Buster.
Huh? Oh, Regan.
You looking for something?
You, Pilgrim.
What else?
Plymouth Rock.
Come on, punk, level it.
All right, coax me.
All right, because you've been crying for this. Now, flatten out. Well, it felt good to watch the big guy fall. He folded in like a steeple in an earthquake. When his head bounced on the Lion's carpet, it figured he was due for a long sleep, so I went through his pockets. Ticket stubs from the prize fights, the gun, and a pocket knife I dumped into the safe. It was a pass to the Dons game on November 25th. He must have swiped that from his boss, so I filed that in the Lion's desk for future reference. But this guy Phelps had taken orders from somebody besides Hendricks. I just heard him do it on the phone. So when I turned up an old envelope with 832 North Palm stretched in the back, I crossed my fingers. He'd been calling a Crestview number, and the phone book said that I had a lead. North Palm was in the Crestview Exchange area. So I called for the cops to sweep up Brother Phelps, and I climbed back onto my broomstick. I drove out through Beverly Hills. I wound up in front of a big Spanish house with potted $10 bills on the driveway. There was a new Nash sticking out of the garage, and I walked around to take a look. But honest John had beat me to it.
Who's there?
Now, stick around. I want to talk to you.
Stand back. Stand back.
You like cars, don't you? Maybe you want a hot rod.
No, you don't. Get away from me.
Hey. Well, it was the little turkey fan that I'd last seen in an overcoat. Phelps' buddy. He took out of there like a cow in deer season, so I let him go. No license. Well, I took a look around the car he'd been sniffing, but nothing showed except the registration. It said Mrs. Agnes Hendricks. I went to the house and rang the doorbell, and she answered.
Oh, what's you? Mr. Regan.
All right, I'll ask myself in.
Yes, come in.
Who are you expecting, John Alden?
No, I'm glad to see you.
You know, I don't like girls who break dates.
Oh, that.
Yeah, that's one thing.
I couldn't help it. I couldn't wait for you to come all the way to Calabasas.
You got impatient on account of a body in the house.
You saw him?
Yeah, after I tripped over him in your room.
I didn't do it.
Did I say you did?
You've got to believe me.
Relax. I look like a jury. You got multiple vision.
Oh, Mr. Regan, I was so frightened. I didn't know which way to turn.
We've been through all that woman driver routine. You don't like your husband. You wanted to get rid of him.
But only in Reno.
All right, now let's get back to page 1. You gave 250 G's to a jeweler named Kelly. You bought a rock.
What?
A rock, Plymouth Rock. It's a diamond. It's got to be.
Well,
why'd you do it? Who'd you buy it for?
Myself. My lawyer said I should get it for myself, that's all.
He likes you pretty, huh?
No, it was a community property thing. He said I could keep my husband from knowing how much money I had when he asked for a divorce settlement.
Only hubby got wind of the deal.
I guess so.
You're making sense. Only why did he write a check to Kelly?
Well, it was a small one. It must have been for a paste imitation, don't you think?
It's not my business. Keep dealing.
I mean, maybe he planned on switching them and getting my real one.
Yeah, that's been done.
But he actually did it. Because all through this, there's been a diamond in the place where I always keep it.
All right, you got a strong boy, Phelps. Had him out looking for the real diamond.
What?
And the other guy, the old man, was out in the garage.
No.
Phelps tore up my office, phoned here to you.
Mr. Regan.
Now, look, there's been 2 guys killed.
Mr. Regan.
Good evening, Pilgrim.
Where's your overcoat?
Stand still, please.
Yeah, my foot's in a crack.
Mr. Regan, this is John
Oh, can it, will you? I've seen him act one part already.
That's true. Mine is the only name that's real. This is my house, Mr. Regan.
Lawyer?
Yes, I came here to see him, Mr. Regan. I just got here before you did.
Be quiet, Agnes.
Well, I got it all now.
You won't keep it.
Phelps took his orders from you.
It's a waste of testimony.
You started this. Spotted the gem switch. Figured to cash in.
You're losing your chip.
Shut up, will you? I got aces. Hendricks outfoxed you. You never found a real diamond.
5 in the hand draws blood.
Mr. Alden, don't...
Now, you keep out of this, Agnes.
She's not in it. You are.
That's all, Regan.
All right, come on, drop it. Drop it.
Go with that.
I guess I hit him with the paste one.
Huh?
Look, the diamond. It broke.
Yeah.
It was just luck. I had the other one, too. I thought Alden was honest. I came to tell him I found it in my husband's cider.
Well, that tears it. Come on, Priscilla. That docks the Mayflower. Well, the whole thing folded in like an elephant on a pogo stick. Yeah, the lawyer did it all right, both of them. When he spotted what Hendricks was up to with that diamond switch, he moved in, but not for his client. The jeweler, Miles Standish, alias Kelly, got bumped because he was the only one who could tell the real diamond from a phony. But Hendricks got wise to the muscle act, and so he got shot. Well, the lion was real happy the way it worked out. That dame with the nerves wrote him a check. So he invited me out to Thanksgiving dinner. He offered me any part of the turkey that I wanted. I told him, but I got it anyway.
Jack Webb is featured as Jeff Regan with Herb Butterfield as Anthony J. Lyon. It's CBS at the same time next week for more hard-boiled action and mystery with Jeff Regan, investigator. Written by Larry Roman and Jackson Gillis. Produced by Sterling Tracy. Featured in tonight's story were Mary Lansing, Marvin Miller, Paul Frees, and Paul DeBove. Original music for this program is by Milton Charles. Bob Stevenson speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Truth is stranger than fiction. And this is the proof. This is Ripley's. Believe it or not.
The last bottle of the before Prohibition brew of a famous Milwaukee brewer was prized so highly that being the last of its kind, the manufacturer had it insured for $25,000. Believe it or not. In a moment, I'll tell you a story about Thanksgiving when it was known as a fast day. Until the year 1631, the Stern Pilgrims celebrated their Thanksgiving Day by rigorously abstaining from food and drink. In that year at Charlestown, the annual Thanksgiving Fast Day on February 5th was changed to a feast day for the first time to celebrate the long-awaited arrival of a ship which landed with provisions from Ireland. It was not until President Lincoln's time that Thanksgiving Day was generally designated for the last Thursday in November. Believe it or not.
In just a moment, Autolite presents Suspense, starring Margaret O'Brien.
Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. The horse knows the way to carry the sleigh.
Why, Hap, that's not the way to sing hurrah for Thanksgiving Day.
What are you telling me, Harlow Wilcox? Why, I've sung that song.
Hap, this is the way it goes today. Over the river and through the woods and never mind the snow. Grandpa's happy with his jalopy, his battery's never low. Over the river and through the woods, blow high ye winds, blow low. The car's as snappy as Grandma and Pappy, with an Autolite Stay Full, you know.
But, Harlow,
Why,
that's
you
not...
see, Hap, Autolite Stay Full batteries have changed a lot of things today.
Harlow, isn't anything sacred anymore? It's Thanksgiving Day. Let's listen to Margaret O'Brien on Suspense.
Suspense.
right. And its 60,000 dealers and service stations bring you radio's outstanding theater of thrills. Starring tonight, Miss Margaret O'Brien in Anton Leader's production of The Screaming Woman. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I'm Margaret Leary, and I've got to tell you how it happened. It was Thanksgiving Day, and it was nice and sunshiny. Almost like summer, except cooler. Mama was cooking the turkey, and I was watching. And Mama said to me,
"Good heavens, I forgot. Your Aunt Cynthy's made some cranberry relish for us. Run over and get it, Margaret, so her feelings aren't hurt. And hurry. This turkey's done to a turn."
So I ran to Aunt Cynthy's, and on the way back I took a shortcut through Mr. Kelly's lot. It's a big lot, more like the side of a hill that slides down to Monument Creek. It's a swell place to play Indians and cowboys, or explorers are hunting for treasures, because trucks dump all kinds of stuff there. Loads of dirt and junk, and even big things like old cars and big pipes and chunks of concrete. Well, this day, coming back from Aunt Cynthy's, I saw that a lot of new junk and dirt had been dumped there since Saturday. They'd even covered up our swell big concrete pipe that us kids called our fort. Covered it clear up. I was looking around to see where it used to be when, all of a sudden, I stopped and listened. The sound was coming up out of the ground. A woman was buried under the junk and dirt and glass, and she was screaming all wild and horrible for somebody to dig her out. I started to run. I fell down and got up and ran some more. It was an awful, awful long way to our house that day. Mama! Mama!
Margaret?
Mama! Mama!
Oh, Margaret, haven't I told you not to slam the door? Is that the relish?
Listen, Mama. There's a screaming woman in the lot.
Wash your hands, Margaret.
She was screaming and screaming and screaming. Mama, listen to me. We've got to dig her out. She's buried under tons and tons of dirt.
I'm sure she can wait till after dinner. Oh, next year, I swear I'm going to buy a bigger platter.
Mama, don't you believe me? You've got to believe me.
Margaret, I've got a million things to do. Good gosh, look at you. How'd you get your knees so dirty?
We're running back from the lot.
Never mind. Scoot and tell your dad we're about to eat. He's in the front room reading his paper.
Yes, Mama. Daddy! Oh, Daddy, I've got to tell you something.
Getting hungry, baby?
Daddy, there's a screaming woman in the lot.
Oh, I never knew a woman who didn't. Smell that turkey.
We've got to get picks and shovels and dig her up, like for an Egyptian mummy. Oh, Daddy!
I don't feel much like an archaeologist today, Margaret. I can't think of anything but food. Let's have an expedition next Sunday and dig her up.
But we can't wait that long. Oh, Daddy, she'll die if we don't do it now. I'll give you some money.
Oh, so it's a business proposition. Well, how much do you pay by the hour?
I've got $5 whole. It took me a year to save.
Come here, Puss. You know I'm touched.
Oh, but Daddy,
you want me to play with you, and you're willing to pay me for my
but...
time. Why, dear, you're shaking. Calm down.
Oh, Daddy, please.
After our Thanksgiving dinner, I'll come out and listen to your screaming
but...
woman. How's that?
Oh, no, now, Daddy. Maybe she'll die if you don't come out now. Oh, you've got to come now.
Margaret.
If you believe me, you wouldn't wait. You never believe me. Mama doesn't believe me. Nobody believes me.
Quiet down right this minute. Or I not only won't go with you, but you'll go to your room and stay in without your Thanksgiving dinner. Now, is that clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear. I always liked Thanksgiving, almost next best to Christmas. But that was an awful one. Dinner was 1,000,000 years long. Everybody moved so slow, like a slow-motion movie. Forks and knives and spoons moved slow, and Dad's cheek muscles moved slow when he chewed. I'm trying to make things faster.
Margaret, you heard your mother now. Don't eat so fast.
But, Daddy, the screaming woman, we've got to hurry.
My dear young lady, this is Thanksgiving dinner, an occasion when we do not hurry. No, I intend to eat 4 or 5 helpings of everything until I can't eat any more. Then I'm going to make an extra effort and find room for pumpkin pie, a few walnuts, and stuffed dates.
Oh, please, please, Daddy.
Now, if you pester me any more, if you mention her again, this screaming what's this, I won't go out with you to hear a recital at all. That understood?
Yes, sir. It's understood. I wanted to yell, oh, please, rush, get up, run around, come on, hurry. but I had to sit still. While out there in the lot with the sun shining down, all alone with nobody to hear or to help her, was the screaming woman. I could hear in my mind, screaming. Mom and Daddy couldn't hear. They just kept on eating and talking.
Well, now that I can be thankful for a full stomach, I guess we should consider what other things we have to be thankful for,
Well, we're all healthy. Prices are sky high, but we're not in debt. Yet.
Those are mundane things, my dear. I'm thankful for my big daughter. Right, Puss?
Yes, Dad.
And for my loving wife, who is still the most romantic woman I know.
Oh, silly.
I'm thankful I didn't marry somebody else.
You nearly married Dora Lampell. Even gave her a ring.
No, I never meant a thing. No one... No. You're the only one who's been the serious competitor since we were all kids.
Oh?
There's only one. One other. Helen Nesbit.
Oh.
Yeah, Helen was my first love. When she was about as old as Margaret, I gave her a present one Christmas, and she gave me one, and I still have it.
Oh, that paperweight on your desk.
Mm-hmm. Funny how we hang on to things that were important when we were kids.
Daddy.
Just a little longer, Puss. Warm up my coffee, will you, dear?
You know what I'm thankful for, dear? Seriously. That we stayed here in this same town where we grew up. Here you are, dear.
Thank you.
The same friends. Even the same street. It's been a peaceful life. Not very exciting, but...
Daddy!
Margaret finds it pretty exciting.
Yes. You better take her out to the lot before she collapses.
All right, now, where is your screaming woman? Lead me to her.
Over here, where our fort used to be.
Fort?
The big concrete pipe. It's all covered up now.
Kelly's really getting this lot filled in. All right, where's the lady?
Right about here, Daddy. Listen.
Don't hear a thing, except the wind. Better button up your sweater, Puss.
Shh. Listen.
Well, that's the trolley over on Aspen Street.
Hey there! Screaming woman! Hey!
Looks like the Dolans are starting out for a drive. Well, I guess your screaming woman's let you down, Puss.
But she was here, Daddy. Right under here where they dumped all this dirt. I heard her screaming and screaming, like she was underneath the fort. Somebody's dumped tons and tons right on top of our fort.
Yeah, too bad they buried your fort, Margaret. I saw two of Kelly's big trucks backed in here last evening. There was a dump truck in here this morning, too.
It isn't because they covered the fort.
It must be your screaming woman doesn't like grown-ups. Only delivers her solo for kids, I guess.
Maybe she can't scream anymore.
Well, I'm going back and take a nap. Let my dinner settle.
Well, aren't you going to help me dig?
Now, listen, my dear. Don't you think this is a sort of a silly game?
But it's not a game.
Now, don't stay too long, dear. Mama probably likes some help with those dishes.
Daddy! Daddy! I know I heard her scream. I know it. Oh, darn, darn, darn! You're there. You're still there. Hey, screaming woman! Oh, why did you scream before? Why didn't you scream so Daddy could hear you? Don't just scream for me. I can't help you all by myself. Daddy! Daddy, where are you?
Upstairs, Margaret.
Daddy, she's screaming again. Right after you left, she started to scream. You've got to come back.
Whoa, there now. Come here. Let me feel your head.
Please, Dad.
Why, you've got a fever. You're going to lie down, young lady.
We can't leave her down there, Dad. We just can't.
Come on into your room. That's right.
It's awful, Dad. It's awful for her to be screaming and nobody listening. Nobody caring.
Lie down, Puss. Lie down. Now, come on.
She'll choke where there isn't any more air and she'll die.
Now, you're going to lie down the rest of the afternoon before you make yourself sick.
No, I've got to dig. I've got to dig her up.
It's all those comic books you read. Now, I forbid you to leave the house. Close your eyes now and take a nap. That's my good girl.
What am I going to do? What am I going to
For suspense, Autolite is bringing you Miss Margaret O'Brien in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Hello? I have a hunch you're going to give me another Autolite Stay Full Battery Thanksgiving song.
No, not me, Hap.
No?
No, sirree. By Cornelius, I'm going to tell a Thanksgiving story. It's a fable.
Couldn't be anything else if you told it.
Now, listen to this, my trigger-tongue trooper. Last year at this time, my car called me out to the garage. Quite a car, too, Hap. Once a year, she overhauls me.
Wow, and on Thanksgiving Day, too.
Harlow, she said, I have an empty feeling, and I'm so confounded thirsty all the time, I think you ought to do something about it. I'd like to end up Thanksgiving Day with that fine, full feeling that lulls you to sleep as soon as the mince pie disappears. Well, how, my pretty, says I, can all this be accomplished? Easy, she chimes. I need to switch to an Autolite Stay Full battery. Why, with an Autolite Stay Full battery, I'll never be thirsty, and if you use me normally, I'll need only 3 drinks a year. And what's more, with the oversized electrical capacity and fiberglass insulation of that Autolite Stay Full battery, I'll have more power, stay lively longer, and save you time, trouble, work, and worry. And Harlow, for a fellow as lazy as you are, think what all this means. Well, when she came up with all those points in my favor, I hurried, I hastened, I hurtled till I was exhausted. And by Christopher, I got an Autolite Stay Full battery and gave it to Clarissa. I call my car Clarissa. Thanksgiving morning. We took a spin, and I could tell she was happier than a penguin with skis.
It sounds like Harlow in Wonderland. Well, now, let's get back to Margaret O'Brien and the Screaming Woman.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Miss Margaret O'Brien as Margaret in The Screaming Woman. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
After a while, I stopped crying. I had to get back to the lot where that woman was screaming, but I was locked in. I tied a sheet to the bed and let it out the window and shinnied down to the ground. Then I ran to the garage and got shovels and ran to the empty lot. The sun was almost down and it was getting cold. I started to dig fast.
Hiya, Maggie.
It was Dippy Smith, who was 10 years old, the same as me. He goes to my school.
What you digging for?
For a screaming woman. She's down in the ground and I'm going to dig her up. You can help me dig, Dippy. There's an extra shovel.
I don't hear nothing. And I don't dig unless I hear a scream.
Then listen.
I don't hear nothing.
Just wait. You will. There. Did you hear it?
Hey, that's okay. Do it again.
Do what again?
The scream. Do it again. Go on. I'll give you this Aggie if you teach me to do it. Hot dog, did you get that ventriloquist book for a dime from that magic company? You got one of those tin things in your mouth?
I won't tell unless you help me dig.
Okay, swell. Give me the shovel. Hot dog.
And you got to dig fast, like this, Dippy.
Boy, you'd think she was right under our feet. You're wonderful, Maggie. Say, what's the screaming woman's name? You must have made her up a name.
Oh, sure. Her name is Wilma Schweiger, and she's a rich old lady, 160 years old. And she was buried by a crook named Spike. Come on, Dippy, dig. Keep digging. We can't stop, Dippy.
Oh, I'm tired. I think I'll go home.
Dippy, stop. You can't. There really is a woman buried here.
Well, sure. You said so, Maggie.
Oh, don't you believe me? I wasn't throwing my voice. Come back, Dippy.
Okay, but I'm getting tired of digging.
Now, look, Dippy. I'll go way over here, and then you listen.
Okay.
Listen.
Hey, there really is a woman here.
That's what I told you.
Well, come on, let's dig. How's she breathing, do you think?
I think she's in the fort. Remember?
Sure. That's where she must be. 5 or 6 of us kids could get in it so it's big enough. I sure hope it isn't just a radio or something.
Well, a radio would be nice, too.
Here, what do you kids think you're doing?
Oh. Hello, Mr. Kelly.
I'm tired of chasing you out of this lot. If one of you gets hurted, maybe your folks would sue me.
But, Mr. Kelly, there's a woman screaming.
You kids beat it. Do you hear?
Yes, sir. But listen, Mr. Kelly, don't you hear her? There.
I don't hear a thing, and neither do you. Now beat it.
Come on, Maggie. Mr. Kelly, somebody's got to dig her up.
Don't argue with me or I'll phone your folks. This is my property. Do I have to put up a fence? Why should I spend money to keep people off my own property?
Dippy, it's him. He's the one. Huh? He murdered Mrs. Kelly. He hit her on the head and stuck her in the fort and dumped loads of dirt on top. But she wasn't dead. She came to. Why, you saw him. He stood right there when she screamed and wouldn't pay any attention.
Hey, that's right. He stood right there and lied to us. What'll we do, Maggie?
There's only one thing to do. We'll phone the police and tell them to come and arrest Mr. Kelly.
Hey, they sure got here fast, Maggie.
Shh! Don't make a sound.
Is Mr. Kelly in the house?
Yes, he went right home from the lot.
Yes, officer.
You, Mr. Kelly?
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
Is Mrs. Kelly at home this evening?
Why, sure.
Can I see her, sir?
Why, sure. Hey, Anna. What's up?
We got a call. Oh, good evening, ma'am.
What is it?
Oh, I'm sorry, folks. We got a call that Mrs. Kelly was buried alive in an empty lot. Sounded like some kid calling, but we had to make sure. We always check, you know.
Why, I can't understand
It's those blasted kids. If I ever catch them, I'll break their necks.
Maggie, cheese it.
Boy, if Mr. Kelly telephones my dad, I'll get a licking.
What'll we do about the screaming woman?
What the heck with her? I'm not going near that lot again.
Wait, Dippy.
Huh?
I know why he didn't hear the screams. Kelly's sort of deaf. Mama says he's hard of hearing.
He heard us, didn't he? He heard the cop.
He reads people's lips, but he couldn't hear the screaming woman because he couldn't see her. Dippy, come on. We gotta dig some more.
No, sir.
But we've got to.
We're already in a peck of trouble over your darn old ventriloquist voice. I'm not going to get in any more trouble. No, sir.
And he went off and left me alone. I wanted to crawl down under the ground with the screaming woman and die, too. It was dark now, and Dad would be hunting for me. If he found me, I'd get a licking and be put to bed. And then nobody would help the screaming woman at all. There was only one last thing to do. So I did it. To go all over the neighborhood from house to house and find out who's missing.
Why, hello, dear.
Hello, Mrs. Griswold. Is anybody missing from your house? Is your sister from Detroit still here?
Yes, she's sitting right over there by the radio. Don't you see her? Little Margaret Leary wants...
No, I only wanted to see her, Mrs. Griswold. I was just wondering. I just wanted to know if she was here. Hello, Mrs. Pikes. You're looking good. I'm glad to see you're at home, Mrs. Pikes. I'm awful glad. Mr. Hyde, is your wife still here?
Dora, aren't you out pretty late, Margaret?
Yes. Oh, hello, Mrs. Hyde.
What is it, Margaret?
I just wanted to see you, Mrs. Hyde. That's all. The hours were just rolling along, and I rang bells and knocked, and I rang bells. I was about to give up when I came to the Nesbit's house. The house was quiet, like nobody was at home, but I saw a dim, spooky light inside somewhere. So I just kept knocking and knocking. Oh.
What do you want?
Oh, nothing, Mr. Nesbit. I only wanted to see Mrs. Nesbit.
She's not here. She's gone to the store.
At night? Besides, it's closed today, I think.
The drugstore down on Clark Street.
Oh, well, then she ought to be back pretty quick. I'll come in and wait.
Hey, wait a minute.
I'll just sit down here and wait. I sure like this rocking chair. Go right ahead and do whatever you were doing, Mr. Nesbit.
I wasn't doing anything.
Oh,
Looks like you were packing or something, with all those boxes and trunks around. Going away?
No, Helen's been sorting things out, getting rid of a lot of stuff.
Oh, burning it up in the fireplace.
Yeah, that's right.
Dad always burns our junk out in the alley. Clothes smell awful when they burn.
Look, kid, Helen may have gone on from the store to visit a friend.
Well, if she doesn't come back soon, I'll leave.
Yeah, I'll tell her you were here. What do you want to see her about?
Oh, nothing much. Hey, that's too bad.
What?
I guess you lost the key to that box. You had to break the lock.
No, it was broken already. Yeah, I bet your folks don't know where you are, kid.
No, sir. They think I'm in bed. What friend did Mrs. Nesbitt go to visit?
Oh, I don't know what... I mean, hey, look, kid, I ought to tell you, she won't be back tonight.
Oh?
No, she went to the store, like I said, but she was going from there over to Beechwood to visit her mother. On a bus. She'll be gone 2 or 3 days.
Oh, that's a shame.
Why?
Well, Mama was expecting Mrs. Nesbitt to come over tomorrow. Maybe to sell.
Hey, you better not tell your mother. You see, it's kind of secret about Helen going away. She doesn't want people to know for a while.
Oh.
You know how to keep a secret, kid?
I guess so.
I'll give you something for not telling. I'll give you a reward. Let's see. Hey, here's something for a kid. A doll.
A doll?
Yeah, well, Helen was going to give it to you. I heard her say when she was sorting the stuff. She said, I'll give this to the little Leary girl.
Mrs. Nesbitt always calls me Margaret.
Well, sure, that's what she said. Margaret. That's quite a doll. Old-fashioned. It's made of leather. Face is china or something, see?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Nesbitt.
It's a reward for not saying anything about Helen being gone. Understand? Now, come on. I'll snap on the porch light.
Mr. Nesbitt, did you finish your driveway?
What do you mean?
Did you get all the dirt hauled off to make it smooth?
Sure. Now, come on.
I saw your dump truck in the lot this morning and...
What do you mean? Were you in the lot this morning?
No, I was at home. I looked out the window. Please, Mr. Nesbitt, let go of my arm.
You've been playing out there today? Answer me.
Oh, don't. That hurts. I wasn't playing. It's no fun now with our fort all covered up.
The fort? What's that?
Nothing, Mr. Nesbitt.
Tell me what you're talking about.
Nothing but that old concrete pipe.
You know something. That's why you came here. You've been snooping around that lot and you found out something. What do you know?
I don't know anything. Let me go, Mr. Nesbitt. If you don't let me go, I'll...
Ow!
There!
Come back! Hey, come back, kid. I'll give you something else. I'll give you something else. Come back, kid. Come back.
Mr. Nesbitt yelled because I kicked and bit his hand. Then I ran, but I heard him running after me. It was dark and quiet and scary on the streets, and more scary out there in the lot. I ran straight across the place where I heard the screaming, and it was so quiet. And all of a sudden, there was a man in the lot, right in front of me.
Stop, Margaret.
Oh.
Margaret?
Oh, Daddy.
Margaret, where have you been? Do you have any idea how your mama's worried? Do you know how late it is?
Daddy, he's after me.
We've been
Mr.
up
Nesbitt.
and down alleys and clear down to Clark Street. I was about to call the police.
The screaming woman. It's Mrs. Nesbitt down there.
I'm going to give you a good licking.
Mr. Nesbitt killed her, and now he wants to kill me.
I've had all of that idiotic talk I can stand.
It's true. You've got to believe
Margaret,
me.
I'm going to lick you right now, right here. I've had enough of... What have you got there? Where did you get that doll?
Why, I gave it to her, Larry. A kid stopped by the house. I remembered Helen said she wanted to throw it away.
Helen said to throw it away?
He's lying, Dad. He gave it to me so I wouldn't tell about her. It was locked up in a box. He didn't have the key. He broke it open.
She's a high-strung kid, Larry. All the stuff she was telling me.
He's lying, Dad.
Yes, he is lying. Why are you lying, Charlie?
Lying? How do you get that, Larry?
Helen never let you have that doll. It was locked up. It was a present I gave her a long time ago. She wouldn't throw it away any more than I'd throw away the paperweight she gave me. Why are you lying, Charlie?
I'm not. Don't look at me that way, Leary. As God is my witness, I...
It's her. Dad, it's the screaming woman.
As God is your witness.
Leary, don't! No!
Margaret, run to the house. Phone the police and tell them to hurry. Tell them we've got to dig.
Dippy. Everything's fine. Everything's worked out keen. The screaming woman isn't screaming anymore. And they've got a lot of people down there digging her up.
Hey, that's swell. Hot dog.
And you know what else, Dippy? They're going to uncover our fort again. Oh, Dippy, wasn't it a keen Thanksgiving?
Thank you, Margaret O'Brien, for a splendid performance. Miss O'Brien will return in just a moment.
Oh, no, that Autolite Stay Full Battery fable wasn't bad, coming from a fairly fabulous fibber.
Ah, but you haven't heard all of it, Hap. Why, by Cornelius, Clarissa, that's my car, spoke to me again this morning. Thanks to you, she said, and that Autolite Stay Full Battery, this has been the happiest year of my life. Why, even these cruel, cold mornings, I've got that Autolite pep, that Stay Full Battery get up and go. Well, Clarissa, I says to my gas buggy, you're the queen of the May, the lass with the delicate air, and the pride of Wilcox Alley all in one. What do you want now, my Thanksgiving precious? And she says, just to go to sleep out in the garage once again. Why, Harlow, you can even use my Autolite Stay Full Battery for a pillow. Happy slumber and good night, everybody.
And remember,
Autolite means batteries.
Stay Full Battery.
Autolite means spark plug.
Ignition-engineered resistor spark plug.
Autolite means ignition systems.
The lifeline of your car.
And now here again is Miss Margaret O'Brien.
It's been just wonderful being on Suspense, and I hope you let me come back again sometime.
We will, Margaret. And now let me tell our listeners about next week. Claude Rains and Vincent Price in the famous mystery story, The Hands of Mr. Ottermole. Another gripping study in suspense.
Margaret O'Brien appeared by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the Technicolor picture The Three Musketeers, starring Lana Turner, Gene Kelly, and June Allison. Tonight's suspense play was by Ray Bradbury, adapted for radio by Sylvia Richards, with music composed by Lucien Morawek and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The entire production was under the direction of Anton M. Leader. In the coming weeks, Suspense will present such stars as Rosalind Russell, James Cagney, Ronald Coleman, William Bendix, and many others. Make it a point to listen each Thursday to Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills. And next Thursday, same time, hear Claude Rains and Vincent Price in The Hands of Mr. Ottermole.
This is the Autolite Suspense Show signing off. Good night. Switch to Autolite.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Before we go, I'm going to indulge myself and read for you a poem by Langston Hughes. It's entitled Thanksgiving Time. When the night winds whistle through the trees and blow the crisp brown leaves are crackling down, when the autumn moon is big and yellow-orange and round, when old Jack Frost is sparkling on the ground, it's Thanksgiving time. When the pantry jars are full of mincemeat and the shelves are laden with sweet spices for a cake, when the butcherman sends up a turkey nice and fat to bake, when the stores are crammed with everything ingenious cooks can make, it's Thanksgiving time. When the gales of coming winter outside your window howl, when the air is sharp and cheery so it drives away your scowl, when one's appetite craves turkey and will have no other fowl, it's Thanksgiving time. Thanks very much for joining us tonight, and until next time, sleep tight.
Let's be thankful for every little thing, for any little thing at all. Be thankful for what the day may bring. It shouldn't matter, dear, how small. A bank full won't get us any more, so why regret the wealth you miss? Be thankful there's someone at the door to greet you with a welcome kiss. Remember that into every life a little rain is bound to fall. But you'll find that with the daily strife, we're pretty lucky after all. Be thankful for every dream we share beneath our humble roof above. Be thankful we have some friends who care, and let's be thankful for our love.
This is a production of Lobato Studios, Sao Paulo, Brazil.